I don't need Sammy. I don't need Sammy the Bull slide my DMs with threads.
I hear you don't think I'm so tough there, Brendan Schaub.
Now hold on.
You want to say some stuff, say it on camera.
Just so you know, we're live.
No, that's fine.
Okay, go
but
ahead.
if Sammy the Bull comes to my hotel without a gun,
then that's a different story.
How tall do you think he is?
Short.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, folks, we have Brendan Schaub today. UFC, I watch you come up, bro, from freaking Ultimate Fighter coming in. Your fight against Crow Cop, who Crow Cop back in the days was like God to a bunch of people. Him and Fedor, that's the era we watched, right? Those two guys. You went against Crow Cop.
Crow Cop,
Yeah. So, and then comedy, and then Rogan, and then you guys got your own show with you and
Theo and Brian Callen.
Brian Callen, funny story. One time I go to a show, a Cavalia in Burbank. So it's me and Jen. This is 2010.
Yeah.
We go to Cavalia. I turn around, I'm like, I recognize this guy's face. I said, brother, why do you look so familiar? He said, well, his personality all over the place. He freaking everybody loves this guy, right?
Yeah.
I said, you're the guy.
You're the guy in every movie, but you just don't remember.
Yeah, but
from The Hangover, he was. You don't remember Avi? What? Give me a kiss, you mother.
Extremely charismatic, charming guy, nonstop energy. But anyways, it's great to have you here. I'm glad we got a chance to get together.
Yeah, big fan, man.
Yeah, appreciate you. So you were saying Sammy, right? You were talking about.
I had a question for you guys because again, Brian's a big fan of all that mafia stuff. He won't shut up about it, and he was talking about how tough they are, and I proposed the question: are they actually tough? Like, I guess, what's your definition of tough?
Well, tough is if you do a street fight one-on-one. I mean, it's not even that's not the world. So you're not dealing with that kind of tough. The tough of their world is the amount of influence they had and who they had in their pockets and how much business they control.
But you're talking power, right?
That's power.
Different.
So, very different. Of course it is. It's very different. If you want to go into a...
they're tough to go against.
Yeah, like...
For sure. The unions and
But
stuff
I'm going to tell you
that.
this. So Sammy's sitting here. Adam's sitting here. Okay? The entire time, Adam, he's 6'1". Adam's an athlete. Adam was a...
He called me skinny, but whatever. He's got 6'4", but...
I think we need to define the term athlete as well in here. You guys are very loose with these
By the way,
descriptions. Athlete, tough.
The guy...
Callen's funny,
the guy that's actually could be an athlete, these two guys play. So he's the best, they call him the best Jewish athlete out of Miami. I don't know what that means, but
it's
that's
like being
that's
like the tallest midget out of
Miami.
Miami.
That's kind of what that was to this guy.
It's like winning gold in the Special Olympics.
Exactly. That's me right here, baby.
Yeah, prettiest girl in fact.
So we go to dinner with Sammy, and then we do a podcast, and Adam decides to ask a question from Sammy. What'd you say? So Sammy, you've been around the block for a while.
Yeah.
You know,
I go, let's use your knowledge of history to our advantage. He goes, whoa, you fucking call me old? Yeah, what are you like?
But how old is he?
He's 70.
Mid-70s.
What are we doing then?
Yeah,
dude.
I'm like, dude, I'm not asking you about... Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? I will tell you. So having interviewed a lot of them, there was one guy, Frank Collada. I don't know if you've seen the movie Casino. If you've seen the movie Casino...
He's Frank and he played...
yeah, he wasn't. So Frank Collada is... Do you know in the scene Casino where they go and he puts a guy's head in a vice?
In the vice, and pops his eye. He's like, that's
Frank
the
Collada.
name? That's who you're saving?
Yeah, that Frank Collada I interviewed. When he walked into the room, it's cold as ice. You felt his spirit. Capable. Capable not like this, but capable.
Capable like this.
Capable in many different ways.
Doesn't make you tough.
But here's the thing, though.
Makes you a sociopath.
But let me ask you, though. That's like saying, like, are wide receivers tough? Because they're not going to beat up an offensive lineman in a fist fight.
Hines Ward was.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's different spots on the team. Everybody has a role to play.
But there's some receivers that put it on you, man.
Then
no
there's
matter what size you are.
So let me ask you, you played in the NFL. Okay,
again, we're loose with the term in the NFL. I just want to be very clear. I had a cappuccino with the Buffalo Bills. Nice. And then they're like, we're all set on slow white guys.
How good was
that?
That
makes sense.
How good was the cappuccino?
Not good.
Okay.
Very sour and short.
So question. If you measure toughness, you're talking sports here. Yeah. If you measure toughness, what sport would you say produces the toughest guys?
Hockey.
This is 4 sports.
It's not even a question. Hockey.
4 sports. Go NFL, NHL, NBA. Go from the toughest to the least toughest.
NBA's least.
Least.
Yeah, they're divas. Yeah, because they're pedigree, like when they're like 13, they're getting Lambos and shit.
Yeah, they've been rich.
They're not
forever.
tough. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And they're all skinny and long.
pretty tough. NFL's pretty tough.
Ahead of NHL?
Here's why NHL doesn't count. They're all white guys. Okay, it's like when you
White
tell me
guys with missing teeth, though. I mean, that's like
I know,
legit.
but they're on ice and they're in Canada. That's all there is to do. And also, it's not a worldwide sport.
You're allowed to have a boxing match in the middle of your freaking game.
Time out. You just said the NHL is not a worldwide sport, but the NFL and the NBA are.
No, well, NBA is for sure.
Half the people in the NHL got nothing but consonants in their name. They all come from Nordic countries.
Sweden.
What are you talking
They
about?
come from Sweden.
What is Sweden?
And
Sweden,
Russia.
upstate
You're
New
about
York?
to get
What
a
are you
lot of
talking
Nordic
about?
hate there, Brendan.
Oh no, I don't want that.
The NHL.
The point is they're all white. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean when you say they're all white?
It's tough because if you look at basketball, like it's a global sport, soccer's a global sport,
Yeah.
fighting's a global sport. So you're getting the best of the very best. In the NHL, as soon as black guys are like, is this a pair of skates? They're fucked. All those European and white guys are fucked.
I have breaking news. That's not happening anytime soon.
Well, never say never.
Okay,
We'll
all
see.
right. We'll see how that cappuccino.
You're saying there could be a major surge of
If they want,
to go into hockey.
Yeah.
You know all those black guys skating out there. You know they're coming for your job.
There's NASCAR driver.
The Rangers got Keandre Miller and Ryan Reeves, man. Here we go.
There you go.
We're on the way to the cup, obviously.
You're a big Ranger.
By that logic, the Rangers already have
We've
the
left
cup.
one
They've got
sport
two.
out. We've left one sport out. So is it
Baseball?
NHL at the top, or you put NFL at the top? What do you
NHL,
say?
no, I'll agree. NHL, they're pretty fucking tough.
Okay.
And the amount of strain, and then also their schedule, the work schedule is a beast.
Okay.
So you put NHL, NFL. So now the debate's between MLB and NBA. So who is it? Who's
NBA
it?
is last.
MLB.
NBA
is dead last.
MLB is MLB. So you had a good story you told yesterday about one time when you hit this bomb, that you hit this homer in minor leagues.
Yeah. There was a brawl. I guess I'm the only guy that ever got a 9-game suspension for a home run that didn't count. I hit a home run. It's a long story.
Did you start? Isn't it like frowned upon if you like flip the bat?
That's what
That's what he
happened.
did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it's called
happened.
entertainment. Do you hate ticket sales?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It was Cub Scout Day at the stadium, so the commissioner was pretty pissed off that we started a 45-minute brawl with nothing but 5,000 Cub Scouts
That makes sense.
in the stands. So, yeah. Basically, what happened was there was an old pitcher named Dwan Brazelton. He was a first-round draft pick. Yeah, he was a first-round draft pick. He's from Florida, tough dude, and he got a little chatty with me. I got a little chatty back at him. He threw a fastball, wasn't fast enough. I enjoyed it, and a little bit too long, I guess, and his catcher decided to punch me in the face when I came across home plate.
And then the bench is cleared.
Bench is cleared. I was about to get absolutely destroyed. The entire dugout for them comes out, ready to come and get me as I'm tussling on the ground with their catcher. And I'm literally, at this point, I've got him in a hold, and I'm thinking like, oh, shit. And then Antonio Alfonseca, Google this dude.
Is this all like Dominicans you're
Dude, he
fighting
was
here?
an all-star in the big leagues. He's down here with us. He's like 6'8", 400 pounds. He's got 6 fingers on both hands, 6 toes, El Pupo Rey. And out of nowhere, this angel, this giant Dominican 400-pound angel comes swooping in and tackles their entire team before they get to me, man.
This guy saved your life.
I owe everything I have to this day
Now, Gerard, were you this
to
big
Antonio
back
Alfonseca.
then?
No, I was beautiful. I was
I was gonna say that'd be the biggest baseball player I've ever
I was 200.
an offensive guard.
225
Hitting
pounds
dingers.
of beautiful.
Did you play
beautiful
football
muscle.
too or no?
Yeah. I played football so well they let me play baseball.
Makes sense.
And Brendan, when you played your cappuccino with the Bills, what position were you?
Tight end.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you had
H-back.
some wheels,
Oh yeah.
and you had some hands.
Yeah, I played at University of Colorado before that, and then
You were a Buffalo.
Yep.
And you're from Colorado, right?
Yep.
You grew
Born
up in
and raised,
Colorado.
yep, Denver.
Who were you in high school?
What do you mean?
Who were you in high school? If we're in high school, you're 16, 17 years old. Who were you in high school?
I think I was 6'2", 170 pounds, so I was like a late bloomer. And then I was friends with, there's jocks, so I obviously played football, so I was a jock, played football and lacrosse, but I was friends with everybody. I was the guy that had all the friends.
Football and lacrosse.
Football
So you
and
were
lacrosse.
tough, but no hand-eye coordination.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It
Couldn't hit a
depends. Did you
curveball.
play Division 1?
No.
Okay,
no,
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's cool. I'm sorry. Yeah.
He came ready.
Yeah,
I
hey,
did
tell us
put
one
it
of
in
the, tell us one of the
he-
minor league fight stories
Oh, no,
again.
sorry.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Brendan Schaub is not my new favorite guest we've ever
That's
had.
the one with the female kicker,
Oh,
or
my
is
gosh.
that?
Oh, not when I was playing. We were top 10, Bubba.
is that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't want to play this game.
Oh, no?
Okay,
No?
so hold on. Who was there when you were? Was Jeremy Bloom there?
Jeremy Bloom.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bloom.
My guy.
Lawrence Vickers. Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt's the voice of Fox now for college football.
This is post Cordell.
This is the Cordell
Oh,
Stewart.
yeah. Cordell Stewart's
days.
in 94.
Rashawn Salam
Wow,
days.
Cordell
Yeah, yeah.
Stewart.
Okay.
What a name.
Slash. Yep.
So I've been to I lived in Denver. I actually used to do stand up at the Comedy Works.
Oh, yeah.
out there.
We were just there.
It's sick.
Yeah.
Great place. And the one thing that I remember being at a Colorado Buffalo game, it was third down. It would be a key play.
Yep.
You would take out your
the
keys.
keys.
The whole fucking
Yeah.
stadium is just doing the little key jingle. Did you catch the ball on third down and 3rd and 16? Did you catch it?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was there, we were good. Gary Barnett days, yeah, we were good.
Who was the coach?
Gary Barnett.
Yeah.
Came from Northwestern.
It
Yeah,
used to be a
they were
great
good.
program. I don't know what happened to the program. It was
Yeah.
a great program.
Yeah, dicey.
But,
Yeah.
bro, living in Boulder.
By the way, what causes those programs to change? You get a program, is it the head coach?
The head coach takes
Is
all
it-
his
is
cheating
it-
boosters with him to
head
the
coach
new job.
and recruiting. So Gary Barnett got in trouble my senior year. He got fired after that because that was the Katie and Ida, the female kicker you were talking about. There was some issue with her and sexual allegations with the players. So he got fired over that, which was insane.
Yeah.
And then they went the complete opposite way. And then they hired this guy Hawkins, who was from Boise State.
Soft?
Soy boy. So
Got
he
it.
gets there and he recruits like all these small white guys with good grades, and then you just
You're
Which is
not gonna be able to compete
that's how
like
you build a
that.
program.
Yeah.
That's what the SEC
and
does.
they've never come back from that.
Just to be clear, Brendan, what is a soy boy?
Soy boy.
I've never heard this term. No.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
By the way, his nickname is Soy Boy. I'm being serious.
And he runs-
that's,
really?
That's what everybody
he
calls
runs
him,
the Soy Boy Mafia in the comments.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Be
what-
easy with your words here, bro.
Yeah.
What is it, in your opinion?
Opposite of Sammy the Bull. It'd be like,
That made sense, the fact that you
yeah.
sat across from
Not
him.
a killer.
yeah, not a killer.
No, look, I
By
get
the
it.
way,
The
go-
only thing heterosexual about Adam is that he likes women. That's the.
That's true. You're not gay. You're not gay, but your boyfriend, he loves that
there
stuff.
you go.
Go back to it, though, because what program has stayed relevant for a long time?
Freaking Alabama.
Alabama?
Ridiculous.
Well,
but
no,
that's
Alabama
not-
was
that's
bad
not.
back in the
No,
day.
yeah, you
Before
can't-
Nick Saban, they were bad.
But they were
right.
bad at like 8 and 8
Ohio
at the time.
State.
Like,
No,
but
far and away,
what
Ohio State
I'm
football.
asking 40 years. Is there like a legacy type of a college?
Notre Dame's usually
Penn
always
State,
competitive.
you know,
Notre Dame,
before
Ohio
everything that
State.
happened.
Lou Holtz.
Michigan, Ohio State have been relevant.
Penn
always
State,
there.
but Notre Dame to me is like one of those schools like it's famous for being famous. They've never won anything.
Which one?
Notre Dame. What have they won? They've won nothing.
They won
That's
back
true.
in the day, but yeah, they always
They're famous
They
for
haven't
being
done anything
famous.
since the
yeah,
90s, yeah.
like you know,
What are you talking about? Notre Dame?
they're famous for being famous. What have they done in 30 years?
In 30 years, yeah.
Rudy.
in
They're
30
famous
years.
for Rudy.
They're always good
Yeah.
though, but then they don't have a home, right? Like because they're independent, so they're never in a conference. So they have championship games, but then they're always on TV. They always get primetime games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder because college, your guys are changing every 4 years. So you may build a legacy with a Popovich and you got a Tim Duncan and Parker for like 15 years, and you can win back to back to back. College, you gotta like. So does it really come down to the coach?
I think it comes down to the boosters. The coach has
Comes down to recruiting.
Which is, I'm
but
thinking it's the same
to
thing
your
as the
point, you
boosters.
mentioned basketball. Basketball is even tougher because those boys can play 1 year and go to the
Leave.
NFL.
That's
or
right.
NBA.
Yeah.
So it's impossible if you're a basketball coach.
So then does it come down to coaching? Like you think about like Kentucky, Kentucky's got
Is that Calipari?
Calipari. Does it
Stud.
come down to Calipari and I were sitting, I'm talking to them. I'm like, so how do you recruit? What is the recruiting style?
Did he say money?
I mean, that's a different guy. I sat down with USC's Mike Garrett, who was their athletic director.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, it's like 15 years ago. I said, so, Mike, I'm trying to sell him a policy, and I was introduced to him by one of the guys. Anyway, so I'm like, so, Mike, how you doing? He says, let me tell you how I'm doing. He opens the door. You see that kid right there? How tall is he? I said, he's pretty tall. I sat next to him. He's 7 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
And he's 16 years old.
Yeah.
And everybody in America wants him here. Now, watch who's sitting next to him. I said, who's sitting next to him? So you see who's sitting next to him? That's his mom. You know why she's here? She wants me to give her $1 million. Now, what do I do? What do I do? So he,
Coach Cal saying this?
no, this is Garrett. Garrett was a
Gotcha.
Heisman Trophy winner for USC years ago, who becomes the athletic director for USC. This is the Carroll era. This is the Reggie Bush era.
Matt
This is that
Leinart.
era. Yeah, that's
Mike
a good era,
Williams,
by the
these
way.
guys.
Right?
The best.
Best era, yeah.
He got in trouble.
Before NILs, this is why I'm saying boosters. Like, you can't. John Calipari can't go to that dude's mother and give him $1 million. But John Calipari can go to a friend of the program, Patrick Bet-David, and be like, you know what?
booster?
Yeah, you know what? His mom's an accountant, great accountant. You need accountants, don't you, Patrick? You've got a job open for $2 million, don't
Yep.
you, Patrick? And there's nothing wrong with you. You can hire whoever you want to hire. And as long as that player goes to Big State U, that mom gets that $2 million.
It's the movie Blue Chips with
Blue
Shaq,
Chips,
yeah,
man.
there you
Yeah.
Brandon, going back to you. So, you watched the video when, I don't know if you've seen the video where Dwayne Johnson's sitting down, I think with WME or whoever he's sitting down with, and he says, I want to be the Will Smith, except bigger, right? Here's what I want to be. And he gives us message, he gives us talk that I want to be this guy. I think it's even a message he's given to the Lakers one time in the locker room. It's a real good video to watch. And then you watch, his playbook. Maybe he came and he took the Hulk Hogan route. You know, Hulk Hogan was before The Rock. It was like Hulk Hogan, right? He was the guy. And then, you know, he kind of takes that angle. The Rock becomes who he becomes. And after his first fight, he says, I'm not going to play the bad guy. I'm always going to be the good guy. I don't want to play the villain. In the he never wanted to play the villain, right? And he takes that route. What route are you taking? Because I feel like there's a couple routes. One route is you come in, so you're an athlete. Obviously, you're an athlete. I mean, you're a qualified athlete. This is not no minor leagues or, you know, you're talking about you're a qualified athlete. You had your cappuccino. Nobody here had cappuccino with the Buffalo Bills. At least you made it to that level, right? And then you go UFC. So is there a route there where you were thinking about? You seem like a smart guy. You're not a guy that's like doing it just to wing it.
No.
What route are you taking?
God, that's a good question. I don't know if it's a route. Like, none of it's pre-planned. But I think growing up, and I idea what I wanted to do. And then I was gifted athletically, and the neighborhood I grew up in Aurora, Colorado, was predominantly black. So the way to be, like, to fit in was to be good at sports. So I was like, all right, well, this can get me through so I don't get bullied and stuff. So I gravitated towards sports because I had just a talent for it. So that's how I made friends through sports, stuff like that. But my passion was, like, I'd watch Saturday Night Live with my mom, so I wanted to be like Adam Sandler. But but in Denver, and like there was no like outlet for that, so I was like, I guess I do sports. But I was the funny guy in the locker and stuff like that, and then got to the UFC, and then I just ran in the UFC. Like if you had Nate Diaz sitting here, or Connor, or Cain Velasquez or Francis Ngannou, and you ask them about fighting, they love it. It's all they want to do. I hated it.
Really?
I was just good at it.
Really?
I fucking hated it.
What'd you hate about it?
It was just so stressful. I don't like to hurt people. Like, my coaches in training were like, man, you got to go hard. I'm like, I don't want to hurt them, man. And they're like, you got to go hard. And it's not my nature. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not a violent person. To me, it was
How'd you get into the fighting?
Sport. Got into fighting because I got cut from the Bills. And then I was this big athletic dude, and I always liked the UFC. I was selling supplements door to door, and I need to stay in shape, so I started to do jiu-jitsu. And I signed up the first day, and they're like, man, you're pretty good at this. Like, really? Like, yeah, we have a big guy, because you need to go with another big guy. He'll be here tomorrow. He drives down from Greeley, which is like 2 hours away. He goes, he comes every Tuesday, Thursday. He'll be good for you to train with, and he needs a bigger guy to train. He's just starting out, too. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I get there the next day an hour early, and in walks Shane Carwin. And if you know Shane Carwin, he's the UFC heavyweight champ. But we started
Pull
together.
him up, Tyler?
Beast.
We started together. So
What year is this?
2007,
But
2008.
that's something a lot of people don't know. You just gave great insight into the martial arts world. Is when you're a bigger dude and you're fighting, there's such a dearth of talent that anybody that's in the heavyweight or light heavyweight that you come up with, it's hard to spar with these dudes and come up with them because you're gonna end up fighting them eventually.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is the guy right here?
Yeah.
There's not if
Certified
there's-
badass, huh? This guy?
Yeah, UFC heavyweight champion, like one of the
Straight
hardest
up.
hitters of all time. But then, he was older. He was like 36, and I was young, man. So I didn't have money. I was broke, but he paid for all my training just so I'd train with him. And then
Now, when you're training with him, is he peaking or is he a little bit past peak?
he's peaking.
He is peaking.
It was
36.
trouble,
Okay,
man. Yeah,
got it.
I got my ass whipped
So you're
every
the
day.
perfect teacher for you, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
for
I
you.
learned so much from him. So
Got
then
it.
he got into the UFC, and then I was training, and I was selling supplements door to door, and I'm making a lot of money, living with my brother. And then he goes, hey, Golden Gloves is next week, the big boxing tournament. And I was like, kind of boxing? Not really. Like, I do it to stay in shape. And he's like, I signed you up for it. I'm like, what? He's like, I signed you up. You're doing it? And I'm corny. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do Golden Gloves. He's like, just do it. See how you do. So I go there. I remember telling my dad, because I have a double major. He's like, dude, use your degree. My dad's a businessman. He's like, use your fucking degree.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm going to try this fighting
Nah, I
thing.
want to get kicked in the head for 30
Yeah,
grand.
and then he was completely against it. I said, all right, Dad, they signed me up for Golden Gloves. It's the biggest national boxing tournament. If I win that, I want you to give me your blessing to continue fighting. If I lose, I'll do whatever you want. I'll work for you.
You're talking to Pops.
Talking Pops.
Okay, got it.
So he comes to this Golden Gloves tournament in Denver, Colorado, and it's like pretty hoodie, man. I'm the only white kid. It's all Mexican, black kids, and they're like, you're in the audience, and your coach is wrapping your hands. I'm like, what the fuck? And then they give you your gloves, and it's from the previous fight, so they're bloody and sweaty. Not for me. Anybody knows me.
Holy
I'm like a
moly.
germaphobe. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then so it was a nightmare. And then in boxing, traditional boxing, amateur boxing, you can't have a beard. So they made me shave. So I have this mustache. So everyone thinks I'm this big Mexican. So I go up there, and I had 6 fights. I won all the fights by knockout.
Really?
Yeah.
So you
With
came in there
headgear?
and dominated.
With headgear.
Wow.
Yeah,
One day. 6 fights one day?
Three the first night, 3 the next night.
Back to back.
And then when I get to the championship fight, they're wrapping my hands, and I was fighting a guy who was 46-0 in the Army. He won all his fights in the Army. He's undefeated. Big black guy, probably 6'7". And he's walking. I'll never forget. He's walking by and they wrap my hands. My dad's there. My dad's not familiar with the fight game. He goes, Jesus Christ. he goes.
Thanks for motivation.
My dad goes, Jesus Christ. Who is he fighting? I go, me, Dad. He goes, you can't. He goes, you can't do this. You shouldn't do this. I go, no. Let's see how it goes. And I knocked him out in the second round. And my dad's
Knock this dude out.
Yeah, my dad's like, maybe he can do
How
this.
cool is that in front of that, though?
So you ended up winning the tournament?
Won the tournament, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So you're like this
the opposite of a
accidental champion. We're like, I don't know, Dad. I think I was there. Bang.
And then from there, like the next month, they signed me up for an MMA fight, and then I won that in 36 seconds. And then I had one more fight, won that in a minute. And then I was training with like GSP, Rashad Evans, Shane Carwin, all these guys. And Rashad goes, hey, the next Ultimate Fighter is heavyweights. I go, okay, cool. And he goes, you should do it. And I go, I don't know if that's for me, because I still wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then I get a call from them, and they're like, hey, we'd love for you to come to the interviews. So I skipped all the tryouts, everything, because Rashad was like, this is the guy. So I go to the interviews, and I've always had like gift of the gab, like talk shit, like so I get in there and just blow the interview away, and they're like, yeah, you're in.
Who's the interview? Who's interviewing you?
The interview is Dana, the UFC, and then at the time it's on Spike.
So what are they asking?
Just like, hey, how do you feel about this? Well, what if this guy does? And then because I'm a smaller heavyweight.
Yeah.
And they go, when I walked in, they go, you're too small. You're too small. No, we're good. And they're fucking. They go,
How different are you size-wise than today?
I'm 250 now. It's probably 235.
Okay,
so
15 pounds, not a big difference.
Not crazy,
Yeah.
but they're like, oh, you're too small.
And you're what, 6'4"?
6'4". Yeah,
Wow.
they go, you're too small. We're good. But they're fucking when they see what I do. I go, too small. I was like, I bet you I fucking win this thing. And they're like, sit down. And then I just started, giving them shit.
That's
and then
gangster.
I was in the house, and then I remember all these like war stories from guys, like how tough it is and how terrible it is. And to me, I was like, hold on, it's 6 weeks. You give me any food that I want to order, any drink I want. I just can't talk to my family or friends.
Yeah.
I was like, this
It's
is
a vacation.
This is like Willy Wonka's chocolate
You
factory.
cannot talk to family and friends.
No, yeah.
But in fairness, you're not cutting weight though.
No communication with outside world, no magazines, no TV. You're with 16 other dudes in a house. The only time you leave the house is to train. So they want animosity.
Holy
And then
moly.
they give you all the liquor you want. All the liquor you want.
Because they
guys
want
are
you
getting
drunk
hammered.
and then just lippy.
Great strategy.
Yeah, but
Turn the
great
air conditioning
strategy.
off, break the thermostat.
Yeah,
Great
it's like the
strategy.
real world mixed with
Yeah.
actual real fighters.
Yeah.
And so my season, which was the biggest season of all time, not because of me, because Kimbo Slice was on there and Roy Nelson.
Hold on.
But I was in the house. So for me, it was like going through football, right? Like I walked down to the University of Colorado, earned a scholarship. Like to me, the grind, I've always embraced that. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be so much more mentally tough than these guys. So we're in the hot tub. Never forget this first night. We're in the hot tub. And this big black guy, Dominic Rogers, everyone's scared of this guy. And I remember we were like sipping a beer or something like that. I didn't drink at all in the house.
At all the 6 weeks?
No.
Okay.
Didn't touch it.
Consciously, or you just don't drink?
I found it as a sign of weakness. So I'd pick up on things and look for weakness.
Smart.
So he was in the hot tub and he goes, man, I just want to win one and then I'll at least get to the finale. If you just win one. And when I heard him say, if I just win one, I went, oh, I'm picking
Done.
him. So that next morning I go to our head coach, Rashad Evans. I said, I want to fight D'Amico Rogers first. He goes, dude, that's their number one pick. That's a terrible idea. I go, I'm fucking telling you, dude, give me him. And
Because
so they
he
gave me him.
thought he was mentally weak or
Yeah, I
just
thought he
wasn't
wanted
ready?
out. Yeah, I thought he wanted out.
Do those count as pro fights when you do that?
No.
They don't.
Which is insane.
So you don't get paid for that.
You get paid, but it's just whatever the UFC pays you.
No shit.
It's not like sanctioned by the commission, even though the commission's there. But because it's 2 rounds, it doesn't get classified as a pro fight. But everybody's a pro in there, and the reason they do that because they don't want the results getting out to the public before the show airs.
Crazy destiny shit, man. You just wanted to stay in shape, so you thought like murder hugging would be a fun little hobby to get into.
So
and then-
you picked that guy.
Pick that guy, beat him, and then it was off to the races. And then they give me the worst matchup possible. This is John Madison, who's a 4-time All-American wrestler, national champion, undefeated guy. In the first round, he's just whooping my ass, mopping the floor. And I'm like, there's no way I go out like that. I remember him on top of me, elbowing me. I'm like, there's no way I go out like this, man. And then the second round came, and I saw him getting tired. I'm like, yes. And then he was standing there. I just threw a right hand, boom, knocked him out.
Got him.
Made it to the semifinal against Marcus Jones, who was a former first-round draft pick in the NFL, played for Tampa Bay for a number of years. Monster. And worst-case scenario, like, do not let him get on top of you. We don't care what happens. Don't let him get on top of you. And within 30 seconds, he's on top of me, gets full mount. He's raining elbows down on me. Somehow I get out of it, and then we're in the clinch, and he's way bigger than me. And he takes my head and just knees me right in the nose. And it's the first time I've ever like broke my nose. I just remember like my nose is all the way over here. And then again, there's something in me going, there's no way we go out like this, man. And then just a right hand, boom, knock him out. And I'm doing snow angels inside the middle.
Bro, I have a question. I have a question for you, Brendan.
And I remember I grabbed Dana because I was so excited. I'm picking him up, and he goes, "Bro, your nose." I go, "What's wrong?" He goes, "Feel your nose." And I go to feel it. I'm like, "Where the fuck?" And it was
It's
like
touching
all
your
over
ear.
here. Yeah.
So
I
here's
just
my
remember
question
going, "Bro,
for you,
your nose."
You kind of like a lot of these stories are surprising, right? Like because you kind of led with slow, athletic white guy, cappuccino. You're a
humility.
fucking badass.
This is faux humility.
So what's your meaning? Are you like you're knocking these dudes out? You're winning the Golden Glove thing, and your dad's surprised. Like, were you just faster, stronger, mentally tougher? What was your
But again,
your skill?
I think because of my perspective, our definition of athletic is completely different.
Yes.
There's levels to the game, obviously.
There's levels to
for
it.
sure.
It's like, I had a rich friend growing up. Compared to the rich friend I have, that guy's fucking dirt, but like there's levels to everything.
There's no question.
So I think, like, I'm not Cain Velasquez. So to me, like, now that I'm older and have success in comedy and podcasting, I can look back at it and go, damn, at least getting a shot in the NFL is pretty good, man. Getting to the UFC, being ranked in the top 10 in the world, pretty good, dude. But at the time, it was a failure. I felt like a loser, man.
Well, let me ask
it
you.
took years to get over that.
But stay there for a
Usually,
second.
I wouldn't even talk
I
about, like, usually,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even talk about fighting. I usually this is recent for me. Like, probably in the last year, I've started talking more about fighting. Usually, I don't talk about fighting.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Emotional, or is it like?
I don't know. I don't know. But because I want to be taken so serious as a comic.
Yeah.
Like my manager would be like, no fighting questions.
But let me ask you, did you get into fighting? I know you say you just stay in shape. Because I was joking with that. My story is eerily similar to yours. You're just way better at it at every step of the level than me. I was like, I'm fucking great value Brendan Schaub. This sucks, dude. But
you're knockoff Brendan.
I'm Walmart
You're
Schaub.
Schmenden Schmaub over here.
But so I got into MMA after baseball didn't work out because I had nothing. I had the whole time I was playing ball, all I wanted to do was make money. I was like, dude, I fell out of love with the game, and I'm like, if I just made money, I'd be the happiest guy in the world. My girl left me, not making any money, traveling the course of the world. My father's saying the same thing. I get a contract to go play in Korea, and I'm like, this is my big break, Dad. I'm going to Korea, going to play ball for $60,000.
Like Tom Selleck and Mr. Big.
Yeah, I know.
That's sick.
And my dad broke
Did
it
you grow
down.
the mustache
No, my
out?
dad broke it down. He was like, I just want you to understand, you're 25. Your big break is to make $60,000 in a third world country. And you're still
point,
doing
Dad.
this.
God damn it, Dad.
Fuck. All right, so I'm out. And now, 2 years later, I'm doing pharmaceutical sales like every other dropout, making more money I ever thought I'd make in my life. Suicidal.
Yeah.
I hated everything about my life. Got into jiu-jitsu, all this other stuff, was good at it, started fighting. But at the whole time I was doing that, all I was doing was chasing the failure in baseball. All I was doing was chasing that failure.
You had to stick with you.
And I'm wondering, like, with you, with football and everything like that, you put everything in your life. You walk on, you could have quit at any point. You kept rising to the challenge, rising to the challenge. At that point, where you're like, I still haven't reached the mountaintop. I got to find a new mountain. I got to prove to myself I can climb.
I don't know if it's a mountaintop, but I think a lot of things, like, and obviously you've accomplished this. It's like a lot of people, if they get labeled as a fighter, a football player, like that sticks with them. That stuff, I never care about the labels. Like
Even back then?
No, I never viewed myself as just a football player, just a fighter, just a comic, ever. And then I've also never, ever in my life done anything for money. Nothing. Stand up, podcasting, nothing's ever for money. If it's good and the content's out there, hopefully the money comes. If not, I love doing it.
You're good with it.
Good with it.
Got it.
Like my shows in Florida, I should be paying them. I don't care. I mean, I'm glad that
Don't tell
me.
the bookers that.
Because
That's
you're having
bad
that
for the
much fun
industry.
doing
Don't
it.
tell them.
You're having that much fun doing
Yeah,
it.
I do
Take
it for
1,000
free.
off the top anyway now.
I want to go back. I want to go back. So, question. I got 2 boys. I'm asking it for a different
How
reason.
old?
I'm not 9 and 8. So I want to go back to how long did you train to box? What's the total timeline from the day you started training to you winning those 3 fights 2 days in a row, 6-0?
3 months.
Okay. So here's my question for you. Were you a street fighter?
No, my brother was.
So he was.
This is your brother.
Yeah, that's my older brother.
okay, cool.
He's my manager too.
So you
like
were
tour manager.
So you were the fighter. You fought.
Yeah, he has anger issues.
So he's your older brother. Did he
Yeah.
pick on you as a kid or
Oh,
no?
dude, my record against him was like 1 in 70,000.
This is the
But
guy
that's
that would
training,
whip your
man.
ass.
But that one?
How old were you?
He's flexing right now. He's
How old were you when you got him?
I was like 8, he was 10. I beat his ass though, man.
But every other time he was taking that ass down.
But bad. Yeah, we had to go to anger management and shit. Yeah, he has issues.
But what I'm asking is like,
He's better now. He's better now.
Was
Seems
he-
like very likable.
Did kids in Aurora, did they fear him? Like,
Yes, they feared
okay,
him.
that's
but
what I'm
not-
asking.
They feared him, but not me.
Not you. You were the fun guy. Let's hang out. Let's party with him. But man, I don't want to mess with him.
Correct. Like
Okay.
if you mess with me, you gotta mess with my brother.
But this is kind of where I want to go. This is where I want to go. I'm looking at the model, right, on how this thing works. So I know guys that trained boxing for 6 years and they're still not Golden Gloves.
Yes.
Okay? You're an athlete. You come and you start boxing 3 months later, boom, you're winning 6-0. You win a big fight. Hey, Golden Gloves champion. Now you're making the next route and your pop sees you knocking out the guy that there's no way this is going to be taking place. How much of this is pure athleticism? How much of it is purely genetics? How much of it is a guy can come off the street as a football player, who's a full-on athlete, get in the ring and fight? Because we're seeing what's going on today. A lot of these guys that are...
It's
not working out. So that's what I'm trying to say. So where was it where you had the edge over your opponents, even though you've only trained boxing for 3 months and you're not like a street fighter?
No, yeah, I think the mentality. I just always outworked everybody. Always, even in 3 months.
But 3 months is not a long time.
It's not a long time, but I was around like greatness. I had a great coach, and then I think athletic ability is a big thing,
Yeah.
and then toughness is a really, really big thing, especially at the Golden Gloves level. Like toughness is huge.
Gas tank.
That's why you're asking those
Gas
questions
tank.
about how tough the mafia guys
Gas
are.
tank.
You're obsessed with toughness a little
I'm
bit.
not obsessed.
I don't
with
mean it like
toughness.
disrespectfully,
No,
but like-
I hear you. No, I'm not. I'm just curious. Like,
Yeah.
do we think they're tough? Like that was the Iceman killer, like the man
Yeah.
who killed all those guys.
Kuklinski.
Yeah, like you're talking about a serial killer. Like, these guys
Yeah.
are fucking serial killers, and we idolize them. Like, these guys aren't shit,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
You
said
put
it.
that gun down and take off your fucking Armani suit. I got some friends that beat the shit out of you.
That's like from
they're-
Friday, the pops. Remember, he's like, "You think you're tough with a
Yeah,
gun?
sure.
This is what makes you tough. This is what makes you a man."
But he said it perfectly before, man. The levels. So, like, there's guys that have been wrestling their whole life, and they're really, really, really good, sick, technical wrestlers, and they're as tough as nails, and they lead face first and everything.
Yeah.
But they're not strong, and they're not big, and they're not fast. So, if somebody who's big, strong, fast learns a little bit of technique, there's nothing that guy can do to him.
Ben Askren.
So they always talk about, like, technique will beat, size and athleticism. Yeah, until size and athleticism learns a little bit of technique.
Correct.
But then you get to a certain level, the level you got to, where then you got the athlete who has the technique.
Yeah, but even that caught up with me. Like, I felt like I was a cheat code in a video game because I excelled so fast through the rankings. Like, knocked out Crow Cop, who has a million years of experience, former world champion. I knock him out. I'm ranked in the top 10. And they're like, here's Nogueira in Brazil, which I asked for. Here's Big Nog in Brazil. And I'm like, I'm going to smoke this old man.
You're thinking that.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to destroy this dude in his hometown, Brazil. And then, I ended up getting knocked down that fight. But because I was, it was a cheat code, man. Because I was really athletic, really big. But eventually, you're going to come across where experience is king.
He's been through wars.
Because Nogueira has seen the big athletic young kid with a good right hand who's very athletic and fast. So when I remember throwing all these feints at him, he's not reacting. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? He's seen it a million times. Like, he wasn't impressed. So eventually, if you don't have that experience, and the UFC is not a league where you want to try and gain experience and get cut.
So what do you think is going to happen with this model that's taking place right now, where Jake Paul is going through all these fights, whether it's Robinson and then, Askren and you got Woodley. Do you think this ends anytime soon?
It ends when, he's a little different because I'm impressed with, they're friends, I'll be honest before I'm biased, but I'm impressed with him because who's your favorite boxer? You like Mike Tyson? Who you like? Roy Jones? Canelo? Right?
Sure.
All good fighters. Maybe Hagler or some shit. Whoever you like. Look at their first 4 fights. They fought your UPS
Yes,
driver.
they were smokers,
They were
yeah.
fighting fucking cans.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, even though he's, the Nate Robinson's a throwaway, but Ben Askren, Woodley twice
come on, Ben
for his
Askren.
first 4 fights is insane, dude.
you said-
and for him to put him away like that, and I know people want to hate on stuff, but there's a lane for that. And it's very impressive what he's done and the amount of money and amount of attention that he's doing. Because remember, Logan Paul and Jake Paul, they could air fucking on YouTube live and make millions of dollars.
Sure.
But they chose the hardest route in the game, and you got to respect that.
Brenden, I saw Robbie Lawler beat Ben Askren to death and him not get knocked out. You're telling me that Ben has to
different
fight.
rules.
You're one of the guys that thinks it's staged.
Is it
no,
not?
dude, you've been in sports.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, I know Ben very well, and I had him on my show right before. And he goes, I'm in LA, man. Because I do a show called Food Truck Diaries. And he goes, let me come on the show. I'm like, yeah, no doubt. I go, what are you doing in LA? He goes, I'm training with Freddie Roach. I go, dude, that's perfect. He gets ready for Jake. This is great. And then I find out he didn't train. He just wanted the money.
Well, he looked out of shape.
He didn't train.
Yeah.
So what he did is he went to Freddie, got the pictures for the gram, so everyone thinks he's training. He didn't put in the time. He was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get the payday.
How does he make money right now, though?
He's really, really big in crypto, and then he has a huge wrestling
academy type of deal?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's the model. Got it.
Ben, one of the smartest people, very sharp dude.
But they're not
listen, you
trained for that
you
fight.
can't be that witty and talk and not be smart. Witty guys are, and he was always very quick.
Ben, I give it to you. Ben's a very cerebral, smart person.
Sarcastic, poking, pissing you off.
Yes.
You know, he had a very...
For him, he barely trained, didn't take it serious. And he was like, I don't think he can fight. And he said this on my show. He goes, if he can box even a little bit, I'm fucked. I'll get knocked down in the first round. He goes, but I don't think he can. But if he can, I'm fucked.
He said that.
So you think, well,
said that on my show.
It's 100 for the record, for the 1,000 people listening. It's 100% legit. These fights,
Dude. And Woodley's a really good friend too. I'm telling Woodley's he has so much pride. If you went, hey, dude, I think he made $5 million, which it's not life changing. He gave him $5 million. Hey, we're gonna knock you flat on your face. You're gonna be a fucking meme for the rest of your life. But we're gonna give you $5 million.
See, that's
Woodley's
where I'm
not
at.
doing that. And remember, Woodley's a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer, dude. He's not doing that. I'm telling you, dude. That shot was fucking clean.
Yeah, you know the clip that everyone's showing where he's going like this. You know, you saw that sign. It's like,
so
and
stupid.
then right
People
afterwards, so he drops
People look
it.
for anything, man. Woodley's not signing up for that.
There's guys from the other side that say it's common sense. You don't drop why are you dropping a left? Like you've been taught this a million
exhausted.
times. Yeah, and he even said it. He says, I can't believe I dropped it.
And the fights, don't get me wrong, the fights sucked. Showtime's I hate that I said that, but the fight sucked. But also, like you have some experience in fighting, right? My worst fight when I fought Andre Arlovsky in Vancouver, we were training partners. We know each other so well. So those guys fought before, so everything's hesitant because you know what he's really good at. He knows what you're good at. So it makes for a shitty fight.
Plus styles make fights, man.
rematch. I hated that rematch.
So you think Jake can control his destiny?
To a certain extent. I think you could do like a Tommy Fury again and destroy him.
Oh, you think he'll take down Tommy Fury?
That's his easiest fight that he's going to have.
What? I thought that
Tommy's
kid's a
not
beast,
shit.
no?
No. You ever seen his record?
I don't know.
His first fight, he fought a guy who's ready, 1 in 126. I'm not making this up. Look it up. Bring up Wikipedia.
That's Joe Glass from
exactly.
That's Joe Glass,
Dude,
bro.
his first 6 fights, it's like 1 in 26, 0 in 28, 1 in 9. Like he's
Gypsy
fought
Prince.
complete
So you don't think he's good at all?
No, he's going to get destroyed.
You think he's just like a pretty boy that just happens to be
a great
brother
fight
with
for
Tommy
Jake.
Fury?
Yeah, Jake's going to beat the shit out of him.
Okay, so who does he lose to?
It's going to get dicey when he fights like a Nate Diaz and the Masvidals and the Conor McGregors, like the guys who actually like stand-ups their forte. It's going to get
He's
dicey.
way bigger than them, bro.
Did you
Those
see
guys
what-
are 5'8", 160. He's a legit 6'2".
You saw what Canelo said. Canelo's like, why don't you come? Let's spar. He says, you come. Let's spar, because he's calling him out, where he's at.
But my thing with that, too, it's like, dude, he has 4 fights, Canelo. I mean, he's getting all this attention, which all these boxers hate because, they can't sell fucking, trade.
Gotta respect Jake for what he's doing, man. Gotta respect the
it's
fact that he's getting all the
disrupting the
eyeballs.
But he's going to run, but it's still brilliant because he's like, I want to get to 10-0, and then he's going to retire and move on to MMA. But for him.
Who's going to move on to MMA?
Jake.
Well, they were legit wrestlers, weren't they?
Brendan.
Jake's going to move on to MMA?
Yep. He says he's going to do 1 fight in MMA, but he wants to be 10-0 in boxing.
Now he's talking about playing in the NFL.
Yeah, well, but 10-0 is going to be tough for him to get because he can only go so far before he runs into some real guys. But here's the thing. If his thing's to make money, think about this. So he fights Conor. Even if he loses, you're still getting 1 to 2 more huge fights. He's walking away probably $100 million after those fights. So
Jesus Christ.
It's brilliant.
I got to start fighting.
So, question: what is this hurting? Who is it helping? Meaning, this whole celebrity fighting where anybody can come out. Who's losing? Is this good for Dana? Is it bad? Is it pissing Dana off? Is it good for boxing? Is it bad for boxing?
I think it's good for everybody.
Tell me why.
I think it's good for everybody because I think you're seeing a guy in Jake Paul who's bringing attention to fighter pay and showing that he controls his own destiny. It's his production. He's getting the benefits from all of it. So I think if UFC fighters are smart, they can take something and learn something from that. So it doesn't hurt Dana. UFC can't be hurt. Dana's brilliant. So he can't be hurt, but Dana, anytime there's competition, he's going to shit on it. But I think it's good for everybody. Boxing, UFC, it just brings attention to the combat sports.
Should do it to all the other sports too. Like if I were Kyrie Irving right now, I'd be like, screw it. I don't want to go back to the NBA. I'll $1 million a game. I'll put up $1 million. You put up 100,000. Play you one-on-one on Showtime. I'll play 10 guys a night.
But if Jake gets knocked out by a Diaz, does this stardom fade? Meaning, like, all right, everyone wants to see this kid get knocked out.
Yeah.
You agree? Everybody wants to see that.
Sure.
Right?
Except for his 40 million subscribers. Yeah.
I think half of them want to see him get knocked out.
I don't think so.
Bro.
I think we're older and we live on the social media, which isn't real, man. That shit's not real.
Regardless, people would like to see him get knocked out. But
Certain
when he
people
does, do you think that people will still pay to see his
100%.
fights?
Yeah,
do you think they'll still keep going for
I
it?
think even when he loses, that there's going to be a rematch clause, and that fight he's going to make money. So
America loves a comeback,
He's
man.
set up well.
Look at Logan Paul's record. He's what, 0-2?
Yeah, 0-2-1.
0-2-1. And anybody he
to
fights,
KSI?
people still want to watch this guy fight.
Well, I think his upside is way bigger than Jake Paul's.
He's got
Like,
disagree.
Brandon, let me ask you.
you think disagree?
Disagree. Yeah.
You think Jake Paul has bigger upside than Logan Paul?
Yeah, because Jake Paul wants an actual career in boxing. Logan Paul wants to fight the most famous guys and make the most money possible and get out.
I'm
He's
talking
about
beyond
presidency.
fighting,
He's
bro.
saying
No, I'm not even
Logan's
saying
gonna be
presidency.
like somebody.
Oh, you're saying
I'm
as far
saying
in
bigger
life.
than
Yeah.
fighting.
Oh yeah, Logan. Yeah, have you guys had him on? I'm surprised you haven't interviewed him.
We haven't yet.
Brilliant
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he
Brilliant
seems
guy.
like it.
Smart.
I'm
You
saying
see the way
start-
he moves. Smart. It's not accident. Like a lot of these guys, it's not an accident.
No
that they're,
question
Even the
about it.
Vines
Yeah, yeah.
back in the day, they were hilarious to
Yeah.
begin with. The
Logan
Vines
Paul's
were hilarious.
business-wise monster, and you got to appreciate the hustle.
You think of yourself as an adrenaline junkie, man?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
So I mean, you've lived your whole adult life here seeking bigger and bigger and bigger spotlights. I'm an adrenaline junkie, 100%.
Oh, no.
So when it's quiet and there's nobody around, you're happy. You're not itching. Like, man, I got to find something to do. I got to do some crazy shit here.
No, I mean I get restless because I feel like I can always be working, which is a problem. Especially I have kids. I have a 5 and 2 year old, so that can be a problem where you're always thinking about work. But adrenaline junkie, no. Like I never jump out of a plane or any shit. I don't drive fast. I have cool cars. I don't drive fast.
I can't do 2 days.
Really?
Of nothing, man.
No.
Can never
Pat,
do 2 days of
have you
nothing.
ever driven fast?
No. But I've had my license suspended a few times.
Yeah. What's the
times.
fastest you've ever
I went-
driven?
This isn't a flex. I just got a new Ferrari, and I was going down the 5 in California, driving back from San Diego.
Yeah.
I got like 115,
115.
115.
That's like a Wednesday.
I don't
Thursday.
drive. I'm like he's an adrenaline junkie. I don't want any
But it's
part of
good
the
for
adrenaline.
America that he
Yes.
doesn't drive.
I'm an
This is-
adrenaline junkie that won't go in the car
Yeah.
with him.
I go to-
you drive like
I
a
go
bike?
with this
speed. I
guy.
like speed.
We're in a Bentley.
We were in a
We're in a
Bentley.
Bentley,
That one
in
was a-
LA.
Which
Yeah.
Bentley?
It was the 4-door. Was it the Musa?
You're asking me. I gotta
Yeah,
take an
yeah.
Uber everywhere.
Those
Yeah.
are cool though.
Yeah, it was
Save that money.
660 horsepower Bentley.
We're on what? The
Sick.
405?
405, yeah.
Okay. 405, LA, during COVID, so it's like not that many cars on the
Allegedly,
road.
just for the record, it's
This
allegedly.
is all
Yeah,
with the word
allegedly.
alleged on it. He goes, let's open this baby up. Let's see what we got. Dude, it felt like we were going 60.
Yeah.
He goes, you know how fast we were just going right there? 150. I go,
Oh,
shut
wow.
the f-.
Oh, wow.
He goes, let's remix this
That's
thing.
flying.
Allegedly. He hits it again. Now I'm like paying attention. Zoom! 165
Good
on
for
the
you.
405.
Dude,
yes
That's
or
the
no?
place to do it though.
We were gonna
When
miss.
it's
6
wide
lanes,
open.
COVID, cops aren't even
That's
Yes.
there.
right. That's
It
what
was
timing
insanity.
was perfect.
Screw that. Rush hour, Dallas. Allegedly, we're gonna miss. we're gonna
Allegedly.
miss.
This guy's a banshee.
We're gonna miss a flight.
banshee.
The flight takes off in an hour and 15 from the old office.
Oh
to,
my gosh, I forgot
to
this
the
one.
old office to the airport to DFW was about 45. Like they started boarding by the time that we got in the car. We made the flight.
Wow.
Good for you.
I've
man.
never seen anything like this in my
I went
life.
to go be a cop when I got out of the military. I'm like, this is a good ride. You know, military, you get out, you were in the Marine, so when you get out, you're thinking you get additional points to be a firefighter or a cop, right? I go to be a cop, I take the test, and they said, you can't be a cop. I said, why can't I be a cop? I was 21 years old with 16 speeding tickets.
That'll
They
do
said,
it.
that's not going to happen. I said, you realize I'm going to catch the bad guy better than anybody
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
They said, that's not how we see it. You broke the law too many times.
Fucking Ricky Bobby over here, man. Jesus Christ, dude.
So you got comedy, big personality, huge body, athlete, college athlete, WWE. It's like
No.
first ballot Hall of Fame WWE. What happened here, man?
No way, man. No. With the podcasting, I have my Thick Boy Network. So we do I bought my own studio. I run everything out there, hired my own staff. I get Thick Boy merch.
No, I'm talking like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Oh, back
they
in the
never
day?
came calling?
No.
At all.
Oh, man. No. What a Vince McMahon. What a miss.
Yeah.
With the personality.
Could have been the next Razor Ramon, man.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Razor Ramon.
Grow the hair out?
You be a heel. You got to be the heel.
Yeah, be the heel.
Oh, you got to be the heel. That'd be sick.
So aspiration, it wasn't like I'm going to go, I'm a pro athlete. You see The Rock, I'm playing Miami Dolphins, and I'm going to go this route. And okay, I'm going to go do movies. I'm going to act. I'm going to pursue this. Like for you to say, I'm going to go fighting, then I'm going to go comedy, and then eventually I want to be able to do X, Y, Z. That was not the case for you.
No, I just go, and then if I enjoy it, then I just build the best team around me, and then try and have the most fun, and hopefully it works out.
Got it. So what's next for you? What do you want to do next? Big project that excites you.
It'd be literally the Thick Boy Network in my own studio, and we do several shows out of there. Similar to what you guys have here. We do 1 million shows out of there. It's funny you asked me that because Rob Dyrdek, he was on the show, and he was looking at things, and he's like, "So what's the plan?" And he kept going, "What's the plan?" I'm like, "Dude, quit fucking asking what the plan is." And then I made fun of him for it, and he kind of shut him down, which is probably not the smart thing to do because he's a brilliant dude. And then a week goes by, and he goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you. It's been bothering me all week, man. You got to have a plan." And he goes, "Can you FaceTime tomorrow at 4?" I'm like, "Sure, dude." So he FaceTimed me, and he was just, he's a good mentor to have. And he's like, "You're 38. When I was 38, you're the exact same as me, man. You're making this much money. You're doing this. You think everything's all good, but I never had a plan." And he said another guy asked him, like, "What's your plan?" and really helped him out. So I'm coming up with a plan, what I want. Yeah.
Cool. Super Jacket's a great company, man. Like, those guys produce a whole bunch of shit, dude.
No, I just
ridiculous.
Think is it? Are you with WME? Are you with any of those guys, or independent yourself? CAA. Okay. I mean, you're with the big guys. So I just think like when you see this, how much of it is the individual cast and division of who they want to be? How much of it is the agent or the manager from CAA saying, "Hey, have you thought about this? I think you can be X, Y, Z. I think you can be, that. I wonder if that conversation is had.
Are you pitching or are you getting pitched? Like,
They've pitched me on a number of auditions for certain things, but it's just we're in a different world now. So it's like, let's say I get booked to do some movie, unless I'm fucking the next Batman or something. It doesn't make sense for me to do Vancouver for 8 weeks, miss my kids, miss all the podcasts, all the stand-up. I'll make more money owning my own business, doing all the other stuff. I would be on this movie.
This close to saying make more money doing OnlyFans, man.
Oh, man. Well, you never know. Never say never.
You never know.
Some hot traps out there.
You gotta have a plan.
You never know.
Yeah. Oil me up, man.
But by the way, this is exactly what they don't want to hear.
No,
they don't want to hear that what he just said, because the level of desperation.
They need desperate
man,
people.
Give me any job, man. I'll take anything. Give me anything you got.
They need their 15%.
I mean, my agent at CAA and the guys, they won't mind me saying this, but we butt heads because they only touch touring, or if they, if there's an acting gig, or they sold my special for me. And so you eat what you kill. For me, I'm not your traditional Johnny Depp where you get 10% of everything I do. The podcast network and my shows completely.
Oh, so you don't have an overall deal then?
No, not at
cool.
all. That's
that
all
you negotiate that?
Yeah,
Dope.
all that. Yeah, so
cool.
they don't touch anything in my podcast. They don't touch it, man. I run that all myself. Myself.
Again, different model. That's it's a complete
it's
different model.
for them.
I bet it is.
What did we learn from Chaz? Chaz Palminteri sat there and told the story about how he sold a Bronx Tale. And it was the most incredible story I ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
There's only 2 guys in the history of Hollywood that did this, him and Sylvester Stallone. Long story short, dude is broke. People that have watched the podcast, you know which podcast this was. Broke. Has a car that's the bottom of it's rusted out in the passenger seat. Doesn't even have a bottom. He gets offered $100,000 for Bronx Tale, but he can't play the lead. He can't play Sonny. Turns it down. $200,000. Turns it down. $500,000. Turns it down. Cold million. And if you say no, we're dropping you as a client. Turns it down.
Oh, damn.
Says, I'm going to be Sonny. Ends up signing a deal with Robert De Niro. He's Sonny. His whole career goes from there. Analyze this, everything else. But the ability to say no, nobody's saying no.
No.
Yeah, but for every one story like that during that time, there are tens of thousands. Like, Bruce
100%.
Springsteen, hey, your voice sucks, but you got good lyrics. You could be a good writer, but you're not a good... For every one of those, and then the Rocky story, he sold his dog. Everybody's heard those stories.
But the business model has changed for good and bad because there's no there's like no criteria to start your own podcast. There's no criteria for you, to get famous off YouTube and then try and do stand up, because you can sell tickets. They're going to book you no matter if you're the worst comic in the world. So it's a blessing and a curse.
So the industry still tries to we talked about it a little bit off air. They still like look down their nose a little bit at like YouTube, and they're like, but at the same time, I think it's because it takes the power away from them. Like it's an international.
They're trying to figure it out, though.
It's an international casting call. I mean, you're out here talking to the whole world, and then the world can decide whether they like you or not.
Correct.
It's not somebody in an ivory tower in downtown LA green lighting you. The world is green lighting you, or not.
No, Hollywood doesn't have the power anymore to go, all right, this guy can do this guy can't. They really don't do
I mean,
that.
you saw what Ricky Gervais said at the
Oscars?
awards. Yeah, the Oscars. But he got up and says, listen, you guys may well just throw in the towel and give all the awards to Netflix. They're kicking your ass, right? Yeah. But he's right. I mean, that was Ricky Gervais. Every time he gives this message, there's depth in his thinking. That guy is a brilliant guy.
Brilliant. Love him.
His speech. I hope they book this guy again. I really hope. I don't know if they're going to do it or not.
I think they're scared to.
Oh, never. My God. But if you could play any role, though, what would you play? If you had your druthers, what would you play?
I would do like a comedy movie with all my guys, like Theo Von, Chris D'Elia, Brian, like all the boys.
Like
Segura,
the Adam Sandler
Joey
model.
Diaz.
You bring all your boys in.
Remember,
You're doing
you
the
talked Adam
grown-ups.
Sandler earlier. So
Yeah, Adam Sandler, yeah.
You got a good Adam Sandler impression?
No, not at all.
You can't do a little
No,
nothing?
I did meet him.
What?
Yeah, I was at the movies with my kiddos and my girl, and I see him. It's rare for me to get
He's
like
there at the movie theater?
flustered.
Starstruck, yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And my girl's like, well, I'm like, that's my North Star. That's Adam Sandler. She's like, you gotta say something. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. Because I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. It's gonna be weird. I don't know who I am. She's like, no, you at the comedy store. I'm sure he sees like you at the improv. I'm like, I've never seen him there. I'm telling you, I've never seen him there.
Yeah.
And I go in the bathroom, and he's in the bathroom. I'm
No.
like, sure as fuck, I'm not gonna say anything. Like, while his dick's in his hand. Like,
Hey, how's it hanging? Oh, wow, shit.
hey man, how's the movie? Oh god, this is awkward. And then we walk out the bathroom, and he's there, and he goes, hey. And he could tell I was looking at him, and I'm like telling my kids about him. And he goes, hey, and I walk over, I go, what's up, Mr. Sandler? He goes, you're the tough guy that does comedy, right? And I was like, holy fuck.
He knew you.
Yeah.
that's
And
cool.
then did you guys talk for a little
big
while?
sports fan.
Nah, barely. His
So
kids
just
were there.
he knew you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
You
cool.
played hard to get, and then he's like, yeah, you're the guy, huh?
Yep.
So apparently,
Wow,
you said
respect.
athlete Adam Sandler.
Huge.
Apparently,
huge
the way
sports fan.
things are
basketball.
going, the
He's a big
Lakers
basketball guy.
may sign him the way he's going.
10-day contract.
They
man.
let go of Isaiah Thomas.
I tell you what, that's the inverse. That's how you compete with Jake Paul. You bring on like Bill Murray and Will Ferrell if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, and have them be 11 and 12 on the bench.
Yeah, he plays pickup all the time.
He does.
All
Yeah,
the
you
time.
see the videos always going viral.
You got
with
any
the shots.
b-ball skills or no?
A little bit. Yeah, I have a court at the house. So I play a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
He
You
doesn't have
live in
basketball
LA
money anymore,
or
yeah.
Live in LA, yeah.
What part?
Woodland Hills.
Oh,
Like
I
Woodland
lived
Hills,
in Woodland
Calabasas, like right on the edge there.
And with everything going on during
right,
COVID.
like Topanga, or like
Yeah,
more
like
Bell
right
Canyon?
right off like Topanga there. Wales and Topanga, yeah.
So my office was at Warner Center Marriott at
Oh, wow.
17,500. I think it's 17,500.
you're opposite of Ventura.
Right across from P.F. Chang's.
Yes,
You know
sir.
where P.F. Chang's is?
Yeah, that's where I took my son to the movies last week.
Yeah, that's the movie theater I would go to
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
I know, right across.
I love it over there, man.
Maggiano's on the other side. They built a whole mall, everything. By the way, probably the best mall in L.A. is the Topanga Mall.
By far.
By far. Even better than...
And then my studios, Thick Boy Studios, is literally up the street in Calabasas. Right by that Irwan, next door to the Irwan up there.
You're in like a heavenly place.
Yeah.
So you have no plans of leaving?
No.
You're going to stay there?
Yeah, we were talking about it before I came in here. Yeah, all my friends left, which, makes me sad. I miss them. But I think for me, I love LA. I hate the politics, but I love LA. And it doesn't affect me that much. When we were in 2020, 2021, the height of COVID, it was North Korea. It was tough, man. But those days are over. Now it's pretty open. I can do spots all over town now, and again, it's my own studio, so we don't require a mask or anything like that. So it didn't bother me. I'm a homebody, so we're good.
And why did all your friends leave?
Rogan left because it made sense for him, to save on
He's in
taxes.
Austin,
And Austin, he's going to build the comedy scene in Austin. Segura, same reason, moved to Austin. He makes more money than God. So a lot of those guys left for that reason. Theo just wants something different, so he moved to Nashville. So, the crew kind of, Joey Diaz moved to New Jersey.
This is like the sad epilogue ending
Joey
of like
moved to
Stand By
Jersey?
Me
Yeah.
or like the Sandlot. This is the Sandlot.
was it?
Joey
These guys
Diaz moved to Jersey. He was never seen
I
again.
think, I think Joey maybe just a little bit sick of the hustle, just wanted a break, wanted a family life.
Slow down.
He's
a
an
little
older
bit.
guy.
He has
compared to
a
those other
daughter,
guys.
but yeah, I'm also younger than all these guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, for Rogan to leave, he's been in LA 30 years. Segura's been there 30 years. So, I've been there 10, man.
You're 83, right? 1980.
Yeah, I'm kind of just getting my foot in the door, and like, Rogan used to always do, Rogan and Friends at the Improv and the Comedy Store. Well, now it's Schaub and Friends. Now he's got it Schaub and Friends, and then, my favorite show that I've ever done in my entire life was the Fight Companions with Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Brian Callen. Well, Rogan moved to Austin. And I called him like, dude, we should get the crew back together. We'll fly out once a month to Austin and do Fight Campaigns. He's like, I'm just too busy, man. He's like, I got an idea. Why don't you do it? I was like, really? He's like, you do it, man. Build your own team and you do it. So that's what I did. So, it's a blessing and it's also a bummer that they left, man.
How'd you get hooked on with Rogan?
Okay, when I was fighting the UFC, he was obviously the announcer. And then him and Brian Callen are really close. And when I first moved to LA, we'd go to dinners together all the time. And then we just, became good friends. And then Rogan used to always harp, like, you got to do stand-up, man. You're funny, dude. You're fucking funny.
While you were fighting?
Yeah, when I was fighting, he's like, I'm telling you, get a set together. I'm telling you, you can do this. Like, constantly
That's cool.
telling me, do stand-up, do stand-up. I'm like, you're out of your mind, dude.
Was Rogan the guy that told you to stop fighting? And
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
What was that? What was that conversation like?
That was I as a fan of both his and as a fan of Rogan's. That was one of the more awkward podcasts I ever listened to.
What was it? What did he say?
Just he could tell I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and he's 100% right. And Rogan's very, blunt and upfront. Obviously the message I think is harsh to the public, but me and him have such a good relationship. To me, the only thing that was surprising was I was going to do, me and Brian were going to do a show, and I was like going to kind of announce my retirement, kind of not, like I was on the fence, and we're driving to the studio, and Callen calls me and goes, hey, Rogan wants to do it with us. I go, really? He goes, yeah, but he's going to do it at his studio. So the people think that was a JRE episode. That was actually a Fighter and the Kid. That was a Fighter and the Kid at Joe Rogan's studio. It was my show, but on his platform.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people don't.
Really?
Yeah, that was actually a Fighter and the Kid.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, I told Brian, I go, all right, dude, but I don't want to talk about the fight. Like, I'm kind of messed up from him. I'm depressed, man. I don't want to talk about it. He's not going to do that. We're not even talking about the fight.
But did you tell Joe this or you told Brian this?
No, I told Brian that.
I got
So
you.
I figured he relayed that to...
Wait, so just to circle back, so you had already decided to hang him up before that?
Yeah, because I've been doing Fire and the Kid at that point for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was starting to receive a good amount of income from that. And it was just I was busy with that. And then I've always been really into fashion and like my own merch. So instead of wearing like a tap out shirt, I'd create my own shirt and walk out on that and then sell it myself online.
And then Reebok said you're not allowed to do that anymore.
And that really made me retire.
Really? Well, interesting.
So you didn't know Joe was going to ask you and talk to you about that.
I had no clue.
Yeah, but
He did me a super solid.
Wow, what did he ask you? What was the actual
He
conversation?
just told me to stop fighting. He was like, I can tell you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and you're going to get hurt,
He just
man.
called your shit out right there.
Yeah,
It's
in front
like,
of
off
everyone.
camera. What happened after camera? Like so, the whole thing's
He
done.
hugged me. And
Okay,
that's
what I figured.
We were both pretty
Yeah.
teary-eyed. Yeah, he hugged me. And was
It's
like,
very
He
obvious.
was like, I know that was harsh, man, but I
Yeah.
love you, man. He's
Dude.
like, the reason I did is because I love the fuck out of you. And,
Yeah.
and he was like, but you can do, like, what I'm telling you, like, you podcast and stand-up, you can do this, man.
FYI, 90% of them, maybe more, can't do that.
90% be generous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They cannot do that. So it's like the NBA. Everybody leaves the NBA like, oh, okay, what's this guy going to be doing? Dude, you don't have the personality to be an analyst. You don't have a personality to be commentator. You got to have the personality, the humor, all of that. So
and Brenden, he was right.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Look at you now.
In hindsight, yeah, he was right. And then even people think I have issues with Dana. I have no issues with Dana. If I saw him give him a big hug, because him signing that Reebok deal at the time, that gave me the fuel to get to where I wanted to get. So I was so mad at him. I was so mad when he signed that Reebok deal.
At Dana White?
I was so mad. And we had a conversation on the phone. It did not go well. And I just kept call him out on shows, but he put a fucking box of Pringles on my shoulder. Some people have a chip on their shoulder. I had a fucking Pringle box on my shoulder. Wow. I was so mad, but it gave me the fuel to get to where I wanted to go. And now that I'm on the outside looking in, I've made it this far, I would give him a hug and be like, thank God you did that, man. So I owe all my stuff to him, man.
You channeled that rage artistically too, which is like, I mean, that's something that...
Because I didn't want to be a failure I wasn't doing it to prove to Dana, like, told you I could do it, but I just didn't want to be that guy that left the UFC and then, was fucking holding mitts at the UFC.
Sure. Well, I bet that they would scoffing at you,
You're a
too. It's
big
like, what are you
fan
going to do? Oh,
of
dude,
Dana,
I'm going to do stand-up.
Yeah.
Say that again.
You're a big fan of Dana White, though.
I'm a big fan.
Speak very highly of
I
him.
actually want to ask him a question. I'm curious to know what
I want to be very clear. I'm a very big fan of Dana.
Oh, it's very obvious. You
I have
made it
no
clear.
issues
Yeah.
with it.
But here's what I want to ask you. So in UFC today, okay, versus 10 years ago, who's more important today? A face of the UFC that's marketable? For example, Usman's not marketable. He's a ridiculous fighter. But is he a guy that's going to come out and, do one of these?
Why do you think Usman's not
He's not a Conor, is your point.
He's just giving an
First
example.
of all, I will make it very clear. I think technically the guy's a monster.
He's all-time great.
But Conor, some people put him in the top 5. Conor makes you money, okay?
Conor's a once-in-a-lifetime.
Kobe,
I mean, he's Muhammad Ali.
Kobe makes you money. Kobe talks shit. Jorge Masvidal makes you money,
But
right?
Chael Sonnen talks shit, but I don't know. Was he a money fighter?
Yeah, he was a money fighter, yeah.
Was Chael Sonnen really a money
Eyeballs?
I've never even heard of his name.
But wait a minute. He was.
fighter? Can't let you get close to me.
He was a money fighter for UFC, but back then they didn't pay the way they pay. It was a different model.
But he brought eyeballs to the
There
sport.
you go.
Yeah.
Of course he brought eyeballs to the sport. Yeah.
No, you have a point.
But what I'm trying to go to right now is the following. What matters more is a ridiculous, one of the greatest promoters of all time, Dana White, more important today to the sport of UFC, or is a great face important to the face of UFC?
Dana White.
Okay.
Dana White.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that
You look
concept.
at the business model, too, because now they've gone away from pay-per-views, which
Yeah.
pay-per-view is generated just off stars. And now they make their nut off the ESPN deal, getting whatever $600 million a year, put on 42 fights on ESPN. So ESPN doesn't care if it's Conor or some guy you've never heard of.
That's right.
UFC's making their money. No one's more famous or big in the sport than Dana White. The two most famous people aren't fighting. It's Joe Rogan and Dana White. They're cage side making all the money.
Very true.
What a
Crazy.
great point. What a great point. So,
Which
so
Conor McGregor makes a ton of sense joining them on the outside.
So
of the
this is my
cage.
question for you.
Yeah.
This is my question for him. I'm curious to know what he says. Who do you think, okay? Dana's not going to be able to do this for 30 more years, okay? He's going to go for a while, but to do it 30 more years, I don't know about that. Is there anybody you would say, if anybody could do Dana's job today, it'd be ... Is there anybody that could do his job today?
Not to the level that he does it at, because I do think you got to be kind of a shark, because a lot of fighters are pretty caring, despite what people think. So, but it'd be a fighter. It'd be like a guy like Brian Stan, if you know who he is, military background. And he went on, he's working for some huge venture capital company now. He's like the head of it, making all this money.
Somebody
a
like
guy
that.
like Tim Kennedy, who's a special forces
Wow,
guy.
Tim
That's a beast, yeah.
Who's brilliant, but also
Yeah.
caring, would probably take care of the fighters a little better. A Daniel Cormier, a Dominic Cruz, somebody who
What an angle you took.
Yeah.
So you're saying fighters, as tough as they are, deep down inside, they're kids, they're sensitive, they want to be able to have somebody that cares about them, that takes care
And
of them.
I think you need some of that in today's world, because Dana's a businessman. And which I get, people want to complain about fighter
Yeah.
pay or, complain about things, but then we all have Apple phones. Complain about the way, Apple treats their employees.
See, I wonder,
So-
like when you're saying that, I look at it from maybe a different angle because of being in business
yeah,
myself.
you're
so I'm
thinking
gonna
straight business?
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking straight. But let me give you my insight. I want you to
Please.
push back and see what angle you see this. So, I look at Roger Goodell. Okay, who likes Roger Goodell? Who hates Roger Goodell? Okay. Roger Goodell just signed a Godfather-killing, ridiculous contract, making $25 million a year, private jet for the rest of his life, and health, all this stuff that he negotiated, and he got it right.
Yep.
It's like, what are this, and we've had the conversation about the guy, and the next thing you know, all the owners made. Boom.
They love him.
They
The
made $1
owners
billion,
have to
right?
love this guy, of
right.
course.
But here's the point, though. Here's the point. If
Amazon
you think,
streaming deal.
If you think about the fact that the owners made that money, who else makes that money? Mahomes gets a $500
it
million
trickles down.
contract. It trickles down, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm thinking is I think sometimes at the top, you need an SOB like a Dana White that's going to be able to sit down with these other media bullies that's going to push him. He's going to be like, I don't give a shit who you are. You ain't going to be able to bully this guy. Versus the other guys are more
Compassionate.
the proper corporate guys that are going to be diplomatic. Where it's like, hey, let's do side deal, wink, wink. I don't think Dana does any wink, wink deals.
Does not do any wink. Yeah, that's a good point. You need a savage in there. And unfortunately, to make an omelet, you crack some eggs. And that's what the UFC does.
This is the only thing I'll disagree with.
That's a good point,
This is
though.
the only thing I'll disagree with that, right? There can only be so much circus. There has to be some go to go with the show. Like,
Meaning?
Meaning, like, it's not going to turn into bare knuckle fighting, and it's just whoever are the two best shit talkers, and these guys are going to fight, and we're going to make this BMF belt. Like,
They're way past that.
There's still people that want to see GSP fight. There's still people that want to see Kamaru Usman fight. There's still people that want to see the best in the world compete against the best of the world. But I'm not just talking about UFC or boxing. Like, look, Jake Paul, he's disrupting. That's great. But when every influencer in the world starts throwing wild hands and hugging each other, I mean, there's the sweet science is something that's beautiful to watch because none of us can do it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, like,
well, you saw when the TikTok YouTube challenge, I think was a disaster.
Listen, man. I mean,
right?
look,
You know what I'm talking about.
You'll pay $200 to watch somebody in the NBA play. Because they do things that you can't do. You won't pay $5 to watch a high school kid play basketball. That's what I'm saying. So
that's why nobody goes to WNBA games.
On a certain level, they're pushing and they're pushing and they're pushing. But I think they're going to kill the golden goose. The further they get away from.
And who's the golden goose?
Well, dude, right now, I think the NBA is doing the worst job possible.
By far.
Worst job possible. They hate their fans.
Look at their ratings.
They actively hate their fan base.
And they're filled with superstars.
That's the thing.
Well,
so, I mean,
they're alienating their fans.
Yeah.
Their fan base by doing some of the political stuff they did.
And it's also...
No, when they did it. They're not doing it now. You're saying you're circling back to 2020.
I agree with him.
They're still kind of doing a little bit.
Yeah.
They really fucked themselves.
And then the analytics, too, man. I mean, the analytics, look, I get it. Like, the whole reason I had an opportunity with the Cardinals was because of Moneyball. Like, you know, I struck out a lot and then I hit the ball to the moon, and that's all I did. That's great, right? But that's a really boring style of baseball when you have 9 guys. I challenge anybody watching this. Watch the 2001 World Series between Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Yankees. Baseball can't get better than that. It's a fun game. There's something happening on every pitch.
Why, though?
Because there's action, there's activity, there's a guy who's
And what
stealing.
else is there? I mean, it's a much larger point. There's also steroids.
Yeah, steroids, exactly.
I think there should be steroids in baseball.
There should be,
You think it should be legal, steroids in baseball?
It's not hurting anybody. They're hitting a fucking ball.
Yeah,
I
but-
want to see the guys juiced to the fucking max, cranking home runs.
Listen,
having a little
Did
personality.
anybody get mad at Brad Pitt for being juiced to the hilt and Troy having 19 abs?
Yeah, they're not hurting anybody. It's baseball.
So legalize steroids.
100%.
Let me tell you.
come on.
What are your thoughts on that? You have an opposing
No,
argument?
I'm just
or,
so you're just encouraging steroids.
well, give us your argument.
Oh,
though.
that's
What
That's the
are you
argument.
at?
Should Arnold Schwarzenegger give back all the box office
We had
that
an
he made?
entire conversation last podcast
Yeah.
about drugs,
Okay.
about pills,
Yeah.
and about cocaine, and I'm like, look, marijuana ain't that bad. Da, 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 da. Now we're like, shoot up, throw some random shit in
There's
your
a difference.
system.
There's a difference.
Big difference.
I give you the big difference. I'll give you the big difference. Okay, so in 2001, Morgan Stanley, 9/11. 2001, I go to Mr. Olympia. Okay, I'm in shape. I'm ready. I'm thinking about going into the world to compete. Right? It's either going to be I'm going to go be a stockbroker with Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, or I'm going to go be a bodybuilder. I go to Mr. Olympia.
Oh, but this is real. You
This is
actually
real.
competed.
Yeah, in the
sick.
Army. No, never at the.
But you also.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
sick.
Yeah, I was. But this is in the Army. I was
respect,
competing.
though. Yeah, that's cool.
So I go to Mr. Olympia. So I'm like, I'm gonna find out what this life looks like. Okay. So I walk around and I start hanging out with these guys. We start partying. Some of the big names at the time. They, if you follow bodybuilding, you know these names. I've interviewed most
You want
of
me to
them.
rip them off for you? Or?
No,
I'll
no,
rip
no,
the
no.
names off if you want.
Who you got?
You would get the names.
Oh, yeah.
You'd get the names.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking-
Cormier was a party guy. Aaron Baker, all these guys, right? So anyway, so I go and I say, so tell me what it takes to be Mr. Olympia. Okay? The guy says, you want to be Mr. Olympia? He says, yeah. I said, I want to know what it takes. I said, I don't want to be a Mr. Olympia competitor.
I want to be
the Mr. Olympia,
dude.
right? Like, I want to be Arnold. Tell me this.
By the way, Phil Heath
So-
used to sit in this
Yeah.
seat right here.
Phil Heath is my boy. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Denver guy.
Denver guy. That's right. Denver guy.
That's where me and him
Basketball.
met. We used to work out at the same gym.
And
yeah.
he also went to University of Colorado. He
Correct.
was like a
No, he went to
University of
DU.
Denver.
He was a
I'm sorry,
basketball
That's right.
player.
That's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
he's been
that's
on
right.
Fire and the Kid. Great guy.
Yeah,
Phil's a
phenomenal
great dude.
guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
boy.
So let me go back to this. So I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, listen, I want to kind of be Mr. Olympia, and if I'm going to do this, I'm not doing it to compete. I want to be the Mr. Olympia. He says, okay, let me explain to you what we take. And they make the list. Okay. This. I won't give the name of who it was, but we went through the whole list of things. Yeah. You need to take
7
this.
pages long.
Then you're 6'4", 6'5". You're going to be off-season 350. And no one has ever won Mr. Olympia at 6'4", 6'5". The tallest guy that won it was 6'2 and a half, 235, 245. His name is Arnold. During the days where bodybuilding was very different, nowadays
But now they're all 5'9".
Ronnie Coleman won it. He was like 5'9", 5'10",
Ronnie
310.
Coleman's
300 pounds.
5'9"?
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman's maybe 5'10".
300
5'11".
How tall do you think
300
Phil
pounds.
is? Phil's 5'9", right?
Yeah, but Ronnie looks bigger.
No.
But to your point, I would tell people this all the time when I was coaching.
Well,
But let me make my point. Let me finish
Yeah.
my point. The point is the following here. If you're going to go at that level, like you look at LeBron. You think LeBron just takes creatine? I don't know about that. I mean, you look at LeBron. You look.
That's
LeBron,
the point I was going to make. You don't think they're taking whoever your favorite athlete? You don't think they're
LeBron takes
on
But
amino
this is my
acids.
point. They're doing it on the low. It's not
on.
encouraged and out there.
No,
That's a problem though. So
Yeah.
like, look,
But
you
baseball doesn't need to announce, "Hey, free game." It should just,
make
Bro,
it
98
very
It's just wink,
season.
wink. It's all good.
Bro,
98 season.
What percentage of NBA players do you think are smoking weed?
Probably all of them.
80+%.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's
But
weed.
they're not like it. I agree. It's less harmful than steroids.
No,
Yeah.
but there's a return. There's a
what?
return. There's a big difference between weed, cocaine, LSD, Special K. You know, there's a very difference
all the good stuff.
between that and steroids. There's a very big difference there.
Okay, go.
Meaning Barry Bonds. Okay, Juan Gonzalez used to be like this, right? He came in, he was hitting 40 home runs. Then he started juicing.
Right.
Then he wasn't hitting the way he was hitting before. It actually didn't help him as much, right? Some of the guys, because it's good to be like this, sometimes it widens up a little too much. It doesn't
Yeah.
work for everybody, right?
yeah.
Pitchers, you're doing it more for your shoulders, your elbows, recovery. That's more. So it's not like you're doing it like Roger Clemens wasn't benching 6 plates and, wanting to go compete. Roger Clemens was recovering faster, having 21-game seasons.
Yeah,
right?
Adam.
And why do you think LeBron's playing so long at such a high level?
Yeah.
You
So
don't- nobody think that's weird?
But
Yeah.
bring that back to baseball. You're saying, hey, go at it. Do steroids.
Bro, it's a libertarian concept. The only thing is, like for me, if weed is legal, you got to look at that steroid, similar kind of a conversation. I see steroids in a similar kind of a conversation.
As weed?
I see it as a similar type of a conversation
Performance
because
enhancing.
you choose to choose to put it in your body.
What is performance enhancing? Let me give you a different perspective, right? That term, performance enhancing, like shit used to drive me out of my mind. I never took steroids, but I did everything possible within the rules to mimic the effect of steroids. We all did.
Anatestin, Nortestin. Yeah.
Everything. So instead of taking one clean shot from a doctor, I'm taking 15 freaking 7-keto DHEAs and then another like T-bomb and an
Million
android.
You're a
side
freaking
effects.
physicist
Now,
over there in your body.
But this is what's happening, right? Like year 1, that's legal. Year 2, that stuff's illegal. I never broke any rules. Was I a performance enhancing drug? Like it's such a mockery of it. And now my body's like a bunch of melted crayons because I completely turned my metabolism off.
But also
I mean, like,
baseball, nobody's getting hurt either. You're hitting a ball.
So you guys are all on the same page. Steroids, baseball,
when
good
it's
to go.
professional, this is the truth. The biggest mistake I ever made in the minor leagues was not taking steroids. The biggest mistake I ever made, because once you're there, your job is to make as much money for your family as you possibly can.
My logic behind this is, if it's something you're gonna do to advance, like there is a way that you're advancing, you can consider it. If there is, for some people it doesn't work out well. For some people it does.
What are the side effects of
By the way,
steroids? If you actually do,
But that's a great
what's
question.
The downside?
But that's a great question, because it's illegal. Kids are taking things that they shouldn't take in quantities they shouldn't take it. If it was legal and your team doctor was able to administer it, the side effects are negligible.
So you're saying if a doctor administers
The larger
it,
point as far as side effects in those grown men, probably not much. But
they're not growing a third testicle, having heart issues.
no,
Like
no.
you're actually saying steroids aren't that bad for you?
No, not at all.
All right, like can we get some freaking steroids in here? I got to step. I got to be part of the Thick Boy Network.
The problem you're gonna run into is if we have kids. So if you have a 12-year-old kid who idolizes his favorite baseball player, Ryan Braun or some shit like that, and he's on steroids, well, that's going to encourage that kid to do steroids at a young age.
Yeah.
So if they do it in high school and like middle school, that's where it gets
Well,
done.
just like
By
in
the
the
way, did you
baseball
guys-
players.
Do you remember any kids in high school that were on steroids or
Oh,
junior
yeah.
high school?
Yeah.
I remember.
sure.
Yeah,
It was
they
a little
sucked.
awkward. Yeah, by the way, it was very awkward.
Yeah, so awkward.
Yeah, very
Like, why do you have a
awkward.
mustache?
Yeah.
And you're a female.
Yeah.
Now the greatest swimmer in the world, though. That's a,
Michael Phelps?
No. I don't. I'm telling a whole different story with
The college.
yeah.
But
Not
again,
insane.
you talk about the Lance Armstrong got caught and they paraded him around like a pariah, and then it
So
came.
should he be able to
But
do
this
it
is the
for-
thing.
Yes,
It came
you're
out.
riding a bike.
But the thing
Okay,
is,
so you're good to go with the steroids.
Yes, you're on a fucking
Tyler,
bike.
Okay, how about
Tyler,
this?
look it up.
Who should not be able to do steroids?
I know NFL and UFC. I know
Why
you're-
NFL?
because you're physically hurting each other. So if that steroids allows him to go 0 to 40-yard dash faster, he's physically inflicting more pain.
unless everybody's on the same
So
thing.
you're saying
unless everybody
that
has
in
access. to
gets a
individual
little dicey.
sports, you're riding a bike, you're hitting a
You're not hurting
baseball.
anybody.
So combat
But
sports.
if you're
If
actually
there's physical contact,
okay,
steroids get
you're
dicey.
drawing a line somewhere.
Yeah,
Now
that's
it's
why I
starting
draw
to
the
make
line.
some sense. Okay.
You
But
gotta-
even then, those guys are
Tyler,
doing
you got to
it.
look it up for me, man.
Of course,
They're all
those
doing
NFL
it.
guys
I believe the last Tour de France where Lance Armstrong got caught taking steroids.
You have to go down to 15th place to find a guy who didn't test positive.
I think it was
exactly.
24th.
Maybe.
24
That
before
didn't
you
use it.
that did not test positive.
The 2 through like 20 all have been caught doing steroids.
So Lance was a scapegoat, is what you're saying. The
Yes.
whole team was for
Lance's thing, he was an asshole.
So-
that's why they went after
So
him.
let me
that
ask
really?
you.
Yeah.
By the way, this goes to another name, Barry Bonds. Okay, similar
goat.
with Barry Bonds.
Another asshole.
Another asshole,
Yes.
right? I mean, that's
Nobody wants to see those guys win.
Barry belongs in the Hall of
I
Fame
wanna watch
all
that
day
guy
long.
swing the
man.
bat
That
every
guy
day of my
belongs
life.
in
Oh,
the
I think
Hall
he
of
should be in the
Fame.
Hall of Fame no
all day
matter
long.
what. Yeah.
What about Sammy Sosa?
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
And the
Same.
steroids turned him white.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Oh, that was it. That was the bleach. Okay, my bad. My bad.
Might be a lotion. He's
Yeah,
using.
maybe a little, not enough time in the sun. Maybe
I don't know.
Yeah, got out
It's
of
weird
Dominican.
what's going on there.
He's Salmon Sosa now. Yeah,
66 home runs that one season, 98. I don't know if you've seen
And
the
how fun was
documentary.
it?
that's
How
the
fun
I was in the military. Man. We had a great
The
time watching
McGuire
it.
Sosa home run.
Yeah.
race?
I don't even like
98.
baseball, and I
the
watch that.
fact
stuff.
that
You became a
Bud
fan.
Selig,
Huge fan.
the fact that Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame after he destroyed the game in '95 and then turned a blind eye to everything,
Yeah,
and
and
these guys
okayed
aren't.
everything. Yeah. But you have
Nonsense.
kids, right? Try and get them to watch baseball. My son's like, get the fuck out of here.
Your son's 5.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck is this?
Your son's 5. It goes dogs like that. Was he
talks
raised by
like
Sammy
the
the
Bull.
Bull?
Yeah, he talks Sammy the Bull. But he's tough.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dad, what is this bullshit on TV right now?
Fortnite, just nothing but video games
Dude.
the whole time. What, man?
Yeah, he just, you try and get a kid to watch baseball or even boxing for that matter.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Dylan
Tough.
will watch boxing. I can't get him to watch baseball.
Can't get to watch baseball. Boxing
Yeah.
to watch a little bit, but unless it's like Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder, they're not into it.
Got it.
Yeah, UFC they'll watch.
Yeah.
Did you ever show him your fights?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what do they think?
Yeah. I mean, he loves it. He says he wants to be, he does jiu-jitsu now.
Nice.
He did. I actually picked up my black belt because of him because I've been a black belt for years, but I've never had the actual black belt. And my thing, I never want to lie to my son. So he was begging me to do jiu-jitsu, so I drive him to this jiu-jitsu place. And it's like probably day 4 of him competing there, and he's good at athletic, and so we walk in there, and his coaches have black belt, but they're like 300-pound guy. They're not in great shape, but they have black belts. And there's also
Chris Farley comes in. All right, kid, we're going to learn about karate.
Well, there was a guy named Roy Nelson who was,
I fought him. I
big
lost.
country.
Yeah, nightmare. Great guy.
Ooh, what
great
a
guy.
guy.
Great fighter. But he, back to the point though, is again at black belt. There's different levels of black belts. There's there could be a black belt from one school. There could be another black belt, and they're in the different
standards.
planets.
Is what you're saying.
So my son goes, Dad, you have a black belt? I go, dude, you've seen my. Yeah, what are you talking about? Black belt? Yeah, I submitted a guy in the UFC, man. It was the first anaconda choke ever in the heavyweight division. Yeah, I'm a black belt. He goes, oh, can we show me your black belt at home? I'm like, what? I don't have like the physical.
But a guy I know, he's got a black belt.
Then he goes,
the idea.
Yeah, then he goes, could you beat them up? I'm like, are you shitting me, dude? Them? Oh my God. So we got in the car. I called my coach. I haven't talked to him in like 5 years. I'm all east now. Hey, coach, you still have that black belt for me? He's like, we've been waiting for you to pick it up. I go, I'm booking my fucking ticket now. I'll be there Friday. So me and my son fly down to Denver.
He's 5.
He's 5. Flew down to Denver. He came into the school with me. I had to roll with all the black belts, and they give me my black belt.
Yeah.
I took the belt off and like, there's your black belt. Dude.
Kid.
At 5
Clean
freaking
yourself
years
off,
old.
kid.
Yeah, man.
And what's his
Show him
name?
what- Tiger.
Tiger.
By the way, is he big like you? Is he a big kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's a like 99 percentile type
Yeah.
of kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 and 2, you said?
5 and 2.
And then what's the 2-year-old?
Bruiser. Yeah, the both.
His name is Bruiser?
No, his name's Boston. Yeah.
Boston the Bruiser.
yeah.
Wow. Why Boston?
I don't know.
So
Just
I got-
different names.
Well, we named the kid
Tiger.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It's not like he probably goes to the For Christmas where he says, in our family, Dad named us after the city they conceived us. Orlando, Denver, Dallas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Pat, man. It's a tough question to think about, but when you're coming up, like you said, you got tough because of your environment, right? Like you had an environment where you had to develop personality, you had to develop skill sets, right? Now you're growing up, you got rich kids now. Your kids are growing up rich. Your kids are growing up in Calabasas.
Yeah.
LA kids.
Yep. They're fucked.
So here's the thing,
They're very
man.
similar to Aurora,
Well, this
Yeah.
is the thing, right? It's like you want to give your kids everything that you never had.
Sure.
But then you're going to turn them into everything that you never were.
Correct.
So, I mean, what do you do to make sure
Sports, because there's no the sports that'll humble him. Like he doesn't have to go pro in sports. I'm not like that overbearing dad, but he's gonna have to play sports because that teaches him respect.
You wanna
and
get a hit.
humility,
Get
and
back up.
discipline,
Toughness,
toughness.
wins,
You're going to
losses.
do some like jiu-jitsu? You're going to put him in some kind of MMA, some kind of mixed
He's
martial
in
arts?
jiu-jitsu now
Okay,
4
got
times
it.
a week. He does jiu-jitsu. He does soccer. He's into everything.
Yeah.
So
the culture, my kids go to the Barra Jiu-Jitsu right here, and you go there. I gotta tell you, man, this is good for kids. Like I didn't grow up with that, so I'm not like somebody that went to it. But I'm watching how they talk to him. Hey, they're trying to discipline him. It's not like it's okay. It's not one of those environments.
No.
It's pretty strong.
If it's a good gym,
you're around man's man, which is good. I love that. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. Question for you guys. I'm gonna go to you. Okay. So you remember when we used to buy newspapers and everybody would read newspapers like 20-some years ago? And the newspapers, boom, gone. Nobody's buying newspapers, magazines, everything's
Dogs are
online.
just pissing on carpets all over America.
So go to BlackBerry, go to newspaper, go to any of that stuff, right? Okay, they're gone. We don't even use BlackBerry.
Tamagotchi.
Nextel, remember? Beep, beep. Nextel, we used to do all this stuff. Okay. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, let's go 2041, okay? You got UFC, you got MMA. Is there going to be one that's going to be forgotten about and the other one's going to surpass the other one? Like there's going to be a major separator between the two sports, or both boxing and MMA are going to be around, UFC is going to be around 20 years from now?
UFC I guarantee, will be around. Boxing needs to figure things out. Boxing's the one who are in trouble. I think that's another thing with Jake Paul, a plus, is he's getting that younger demographic into watching boxing. When before, they're not watching Triple G and these guys. They don't care.
To be interested.
Yeah, because their dad's probably running into it.
Yep.
So, but everyone's kind of into UFC. Yeah. So I think UFC will be around. But boxing, they need that next big star because, Canelo's getting older. He's probably the biggest star. You got Fury, you got Wilder, you got Joshua. But they're going to need someone like a Conor, but in boxing to get that younger audience.
That's Jake.
It's not Jake. It's not Jake. It's not Logan. You need someone in traditional boxing to come up through the rankings who has the it factor, like a Conor McGregor.
You think a sport is going to be disrupted? Like, you think there's going to be a sport that we're not?
Boxing is prime for that.
Boxing's a land of dinosaurs.
Well,
from the owners, from the promoters to the way they do things. You got to think about it. Also, 12 3-minute round. Like it's a lot, man. They take 6 rounds to feel each other out. Like it's tough, man.
That's a good point because you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing any action for 6 rounds.
And they don't fight really to hurt each other anymore. You're not seeing Hagler Hearns out there anymore. They're like, look, we're gonna have a trilogy here. We're gonna milk this thing.
They're also killing. I don't mean to interrupt you. They're also killing themselves because you have 4 major promoters. So the fights we want to see, we don't see happen for years down the road till we're over it.
Yeah.
So they have an
Interesting.
issue.
By the way, did you hear what Mayweather recently said about the conversation came about when they asked him who do you think is the best heavyweight of all time? He said Larry Holmes over Ali. They said, why Larry Holmes? He says, first of all, Ali lost to Norton 3 times. He just kind of started going through the whole history. Ali didn't do this. Ali lost. Ali used to rope a dope, and you can't do that, and it's a different kind of style. He used to make people tire him out.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, he says, to me, it's Larry Holmes. It's not Muhammad Ali. And then he says, I think I'm the greatest boxer of all time, and he went through the whole argument he made about the fact that he's the greatest boxer of all time. He
has a good argument.
Who do you put as the greatest boxer of all time?
Floyd's definitely up there. Floyd's up there. Heavyweight's tough. When they say, Larry Holmes or Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, because Evander Holyfield you'd have to rank over Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
But because we came up with Mike Tyson, this big scary guy, and people think I hate him. I love Mike Tyson. But to me, he's not even in the conversation for greatest of all time. He was the scariest of all time.
When he had his run, his first 5
but you look
years.
at his resume, he wasn't beating anybody of note. The guys that he fought that he wasn't allowed to bully, he lost to. So to me, he's not in the, he's not in the
You're
top
saying
3.
the Holyfield.
But I mean, that's like
Holyfield's the Riddick Bowe's.
But that's like the
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis is better than all of them in my mind.
You put Riddick Bowe ahead of Tyson?
I don't know if I'd put him ahead of Tyson, but when we're talking about greats, he's not.
So
top 3.
he's in top 3 or he's not in top?
To me, he's the scariest.
Okay.
And at the time in the promotion and
in the pop
all the hype
culture,
around him, the pop culture, like he's by far the scariest.
So would you say, is it fair to say, like, if we were to define it, like, the most dominant player in the history of the NBA? Shaq, right? Maybe he's not the greatest, but he's the most dominant player ever in the history of the NBA. Is that kind of how you're putting it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Him or Tim Duncan, yeah. Tim Duncan was a monster.
He was a monster, but Shaq came in. Shaq would
Changed
turn, the elbow hits your face, you're done.
Would run up and down the court. Yeah, he's
scared
great.
the crap out of everybody. Yeah. So, but going back to, who's at the top for you?
It's tough because it's a tough conversation to have because you look at Julio Chavez Sr., who's like fucking 90 and 90 and 5.
Dude, that guy fought like every day.
The biggest live gate of all time in Mexico City. I think it was like 120,000 sold out.
He was a prophet.
Monster.
Yeah.
Dude, what are we talking about? Nuts. You look at Sugar Ray, like it's tough, man. We talk about greatest of all time.
Fair. So let's say today, top 10. You put Canelo in top 10 today? Has Canelo already done enough to be in top 10 all
Canelo's
time?
number 1 right now.
I don't know if I can name.
No.
To
That's not what I'm
his
asking.
point, I don't even know if I can name 10 boxers today.
Oh, Oh, no, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking
$10.
Canelo amongst the history.
Has Canelo done enough? Does he already have enough in his catalog to say he is an arguably top 10 guy?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah.
You already put him top 10.
Look at the different weight classes that he's competing at. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Man, there's
the star power.
Watching him fight, I mean, the way
Canelo's that good?
Amazing.
It's
Really?
ridiculous.
But again,
watching.
you want to see him fight Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
They're different promoters, so we're never going to get
By the way,
that.
all I'm thinking of right now is the scene in Coming to
Lomachenko.
America is like, Rocky Marciano. Every time you want to talk about Joe Louis, you bring up Rocky Marciano. Remember
Yeah.
that scene
That's
right
they
there?
won. That's they won.
Exactly. That's Rocky Marciano.
beat Joe
He
Louis's
beat Joe
ass.
Lewis's ass. That's where I'm at with this.
Yeah, it's.
Put Rocky on the list.
But listen, Mayweather wakes up and Mayweather says, "I'm the greatest of all time."
It is
and
an
he-
argument.
He's the only one that's undefeated. Is there anyone else
Two
that's completely
guys.
undefeated?
Yeah, Marciano is the other one. No, who's Marciano was
There we
49,
go.
but he's 50 or something like
There
that.
we
Yeah,
go,
he beat
ladies and
Marciano's
gentlemen.
record.
Rocky Marciano.
The difference is Floyd, once he got to that level, you're paying to watch him lose, and he's a very defensive fighter. He was fighting off his back foot and super defensive.
Yeah.
Like didn't knock, didn't finish anybody,
Yeah.
but you know.
He said something. He says, everybody keeps talking about I dodge Pacquiao. I'm older than Pacquiao. You know, it's like, what are you dodging the guy? I'm older than the guy, and I agreed to. He should have beaten me the other way around.
Pat, here's your
He's
next
older than
business
Pacquiao?
venture, and we're gonna partner with Thick Boy Studios here to make this happen. The Klitschko brothers did this thing where you box one round and then you play chess in the second round, and you either had to win by knockout or you had to checkmate. It's a crazy thing out there over there in the Ukraine. They got a lot of time on their hands, but we can do the same thing. But you're gonna box one round, and then you got to come out and do a roast battle in the second round.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So you do a roast battle, so you roast each other, and then you got to box Pete Davidson
Wouldn't
in
work.
round
Wouldn't
two.
work. You know why it wouldn't work? Have you seen
just wanna punch Pete Davidson.
Yes,
the
I'm
one audio clip of Canelo that goes viral? Have you seen the on TikTok? The Canelo
He called me a
audio?
motherfucker, so
I
I
had to, and it's a dog. So
had to hit him. He called me a motherfucker.
I had to say,
David came alive.
yeah. So Canelo, because if you did a roasting, Canelo is like the ability to roast. He's
Yeah, and
not-
Triple G is gonna be tough as well.
Yeah.
You hear that big drama show. That's how he says.
personality. Yeah. So that business model is out the window fairly quickly.
Oh
by the
man,
way.
I don't know. You got there you go.
The point is, boxing needs to figure it out.
There it
if
is.
we're pitching those ideas, boxing needs to do something.
Canelo brought something up the other day. Canelo said, if Mayweather were to fight me at my peak versus his peak, I'd crush him. That's
Agreed.
what Canelo said. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm
You
a
agree
huge
with-
Canelo fan.
Really?
Huge Canelo
So
fan.
you think Canelo's peak beats Mayweather's
Yeah,
peak?
yeah, yep. A prime
shit.
Canelo. Yeah.
But Canelo's bigger than Mayweather, right? They're not the same weight class.
They fought before and he beat him, but Canelo was 21 years old. So Floyd's.
Oh, they fought before?
Yeah.
Of course.
But Canelo was 21 and didn't have the experience, and
Yeah.
Floyd was in his prime. So he got a young, fresh out of the gym Canelo, and Floyd was prime Floyd, and he dominated.
Do you think Floyd
sorry,
carried
man, he's the guy.
Conor for the first part of their fight?
No, I think he was just downloading the data and trying to figure it out, and
Yeah.
Conor landed some good shots.
But he never really felt like he was in danger at all. He could turn it on.
no,
anytime
he did
wanted.
get hit, and then he was like, enough's enough,
Yeah.
and then went to work.
Yeah, that's what I feel like the
Yeah.
same. But I also felt like it was like little gentleman's agreement. I'm not going to put it on you the first couple rounds here.
I think he was smart and cerebral about it, and was like, all right, we know the kid has a good left hand. It's sneaking, it's coming from angles we probably haven't seen in boxing. So, and that's what made Floyd great. Like, I'm gonna download the data and then pick it apart. So those first few rounds, he's downloading the data. Conor landed some, nothing too crazy, and then he just fucking ate him alive.
Now Logan Paul, on the other hand,
Logan Paul, I worked both those fights. With Floyd Mayweather, I'm in the back, so I'm doing the interviews. So I went into Floyd's training room and he's hitting mitts, and that's the first time ever in my life I went, oh, he looks 46 or whatever he is, 46 years old.
He looks
I was like,
46.
oh my, gray in his beard. I'm like, oh, this,
Wow.
like Ken Mitts, I'm like, he looks older, man. I was like, Logan might have a decent shot here. Now, I do think there was some sort of agreement, not for him to just completely knock his ass out. Because even, when I say I was ringside, I mean like I'm on the fucking ring sitting there watching him. And while, they're announcing and Floyd's moving, Logan kept saying, it's an exhibition, champ. Remember, it's an exhibition, champ. Because you could tell, I was like, what is fucking happening?
So you
right
think
here?
if Floyd wanted to knock his ass out, he could have?
I don't even know if
And
he could
didn't?
have. I don't know if he could. He probably could dismantle him a little sooner.
Yeah,
but
there's no way he could have landed
But
on
the
him.
problem is you're dealing with whatever he's 40. I think he's 40. You're dealing with a 46-year-old man who's Floyd's tiny. Have you had him in here? Floyd's tiny, dude. Logan's a big dude,
Yes.
man. and he's hanging on me. It's just awkward for Floyd.
What do you mean this is exhibition? What's he trying to say? What's the messaging behind that?
I don't know.
Take it easy.
But just like let's have
Rocky and
fun.
Thunder Lips.
I think, dude, let's have some fun. Like, hey, let's have some fun, man. You know,
Yeah.
That's like Rocky 3 or 4
Yeah,
when he's
Thunder
like
Lips,
falling in the box.
Get over here, meatball.
Yeah, hey, remember, it's just exhibition. It's just exhibition.
But again, I think you'd have to be crazy to think that thing was all fluke and Floyd can knock him out in 30 seconds because so Floyd's legacy to go 6 rounds with this fucking YouTuber, it's not great, man.
No, but
he
I
doesn't want that.
Right.
If
think he's a
trust me,
business guy,
if
like,
Floyd wanted to get him out of there in 30 seconds, he would have done it, man. That would have made him look great.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's
I'm with Logan on
precedent.
this.
There's precedent for this too, though. I mean, you talked about Ali. Look up Ali versus Lyle Alzado back in the day. Lyle Alzado, the old
Who
all
you
pro.
think remembers
That was in
Lyle
Denver. I
Alzado?
do.
Dude,
That was
remember-
in Denver at Mile High Stadium.
Don't remember
my
Lyle
hometown.
Alzado?
He had like
Of
the
course I
curly
know
hair.
Lyle Alzado.
Lyle Alzado is the reason
yeah.
everybody in the world thinks steroids are bad
Correct.
for
Yeah,
him, dude. Like that's
exactly.
because he's the guy that
110
came out
pounds,
there,
you know.
yeah.
But he had cancer for something
Brooklyn,
else, but they
yeah.
chalked it up to steroids.
Well, he did. He came on
Yeah, yeah.
CBS was like, I wish I never did these things.
And
to
then,
save
and
a
then
lot of
also
money
Ryan
and fame.
Benoit with the WWE who murdered his family and then committed
Chris
suicide.
Benoit, Chris
Chris
Benoit, yeah.
Like steroids, I'm like, well, he's an asshole
Dude, now
with
they
some serious
think that.
depression.
Well, they think that might be actually like CTE related and shit like
100%,
that. Now,
yeah.
I mean, this
But
is
by
a
the
dude-
way-
his finishing move for people that don't remember Chris Benoit is he would jump off the top rope and use his head to like headbutt
But I
people
will
from
tell
the
you
top
this.
rope.
But I will tell you this. Let's not get it twisted. You know how they say money makes you more of what you are today. If you give when you're broke, you're going to give a lot when you're rich, right?
Sure.
If you're stingy when you're broke, you're stingy when you're rich.
Sure.
If you're a dick when you're broke, you're going to be a rich dick is what you're going to be, right?
you're gonna be way better at it.
So I think steroids makes you more of what you are today. Like if
Correct.
you're saying your brother's got a temper, let's just say if he gets on like
We don't want him on steroids.
No,
Like-
we don't want him.
like if we give him Deca D-ball or some shit, like an old school Gold's Gym stack, like Deca Winstraw.
Loses it.
Oh, dude.
What did you say?
Yeah.
He's the reason weed's legal in Denver now. That's
He
the,
seems like the nicest guy. He's been smiling the whole
Don't let the
time.
look fool
Yeah,
you,
this
man.
is
He's
what
an
you
older
say.
brother, professional bully for a long
You're still
time.
scared of him a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want no problems. But he's a
You don't
great
want
tour
any of that
manager.
smoke.
He's a great. We got any hecklers? You'll see him go through the crowd, man. Yeah. you
When's the
have to
last
deal
time
with
that
him.
you guys like, wrestled or got a
Thank
little
God you wouldn't be able to handle
we
that. situation,
wrestle,
sure.
like we'll mess
Yeah.
around. I wrestle with him, fuck around with him, but we haven't gotten like a real fight since we were kids.
Jay, how tall are you, man?
Like 6'2".
You're 6'2". So
a big guy.
when did he get bigger than you? When did that happen?
In college.
Oh, so you had
Had
a
a
good
growth spurt in
run.
college.
You had a good run,
Super
man.
good.
Yeah, I remember my dad
shit.
used to bully me too. My dad was a big dude, and I came back like freshman year of college, and I'm like,
What's up now?
It's
pal?
over.
I'm the man
It's
now.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I beat him in arm wrestling.
you
for
don't
the
wanna
first-
leave?
For the
Well,
first
now you
time when I
can
was
leave,
18,
right?
and he was legitimately mad. Like, legitimately angry. that
Yeah, I
beat him
mean,
for the
listen,
first time.
it's I can see that. Question for you guys. So the product of sports, NBA, football, all of that we got going on right now. NHL, you can fight. It's part of the game.
Love it.
Totally chill. You want to fight? Go for it. Part of
Baseball
the
used to be
game.
able to do that too.
Well, baseball still has a little bit of that, which
little
is
bit,
kind of cool, right? You know, you like to. So like, I will tell you, if the highlights shows up ESPN, there is like a pitcher hits the player. You know,
Yeah.
there's a brawl. I'm gonna
I'm
watch a
watching
3-minute
that
video.
all
I'm
day,
watching
all
that
day,
3-minute
all
video,
day.
right?
Bro, the NBA in the 90s.
That's what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
to.
it is,
Let me
yes.
tell you. Let me tell you what
Freaking
I'm
Bill
getting to.
Lambier.
the Knicks, baby.
Let me tell you what I'm getting to. Let me tell you what I'm getting to. You think there is a business model for sports to say, look, here's what we're doing in the NBA. You get into the NBA, we're creating a new league called the FBA, okay? Fighting Basketball Association, whatever you want to call it, right? You can call it mixed martial arts, whatever. But then here's the part. Like something happens, you can fight, you go sit for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you come back in.
Go to timeout. Cool.
And
off.
then you do that in the NBA,
Yeah.
or maybe a little bit of the NFL. Because back in the days, if you watch, like, you
how
know,
it
what
was.
happened in Detroit Pistons, what happened with Lambier, Barkley, Shaq and Barkley.
Now, here's the thing.
There was something about it. You got suspended.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day. Vernon Maxwell runs up to the 16th row, hits a fan in the face. Now, obviously, that's crossing the line. The guy got
That's what
suspended.
the fan did.
But
Yeah.
also awesome. You know?
There's a part of it that is, right?
I would rather have Ron Artest running up into
Oh,
the
me too.
stands of the Palace than LeBron going, hey, they got to go. They said something really mean to me.
Yeah.
Please, kick them out. No, get out of
You
here.
want fans getting knocked out by
Get out-
by
Hey,
players?
You wrote the check. Cash it.
It's the last thing the NBA wants is just
that's what
fighting with fans.
They could use the ratings.
I think so. I think
they got to figure something out because
Yeah.
what they're doing now with this soy boy like soft woke movement, man, it's like not working.
Yeah.
So wait.
But all they're doing now, and the NFL did the same thing too. They're protecting their investments.
How are you
the Tom
still
Brady
in LA?
rule, all that stuff.
The soy boy, the woke. I'm with you 100%.
They're in Hollywood. They're in Hollywood.
LA,
they're in
bro?
Hollywood, brother. They're in Hollywood. I don't have to deal with those woke boys when I do sets. Outside that, I'm surrounded by more like minds like me.
Bro,
there's a ton of people like
What's
me.
it like working with those people? You're
tattooed
saying
and
like
moved
those.
south.
the-
Like I literally.
the wokeness.
But you got to realize what he said earlier. This is again the beautiful thing about what's going on in the marketplace right now. The market can no longer bully you to tell you what you have to do.
No.
The market can no longer force you. Like, you know how the whole casting couch, whatever, used to be back in the days? You don't need to go through that no more. That's that market change. But also now, somebody says, you got to take this job. No, dude, I don't need to take this.
Correct.
I'm good. It's changed. I'm asking sports, basketball. Do you think there is, going to get to a point where, because you watch regular season today, the other day I posted a comment, I said, if you followed Bleacher Report, ESPN, SportsCenter, if you followed any of the Laker highlights, you would think Lakers are 36-0. Correct. Because they only show LeBron's best highlights. And then you go 117 to 102. LeBron and Lakers are 1-5 the last 6 games. So they're only showing highlights. You watch the game. It's the worst
Fantasy
game. The
sports.
only game I enjoy watching today is Steph Curry. Only game.
Agree.
Everything
most
else is
exciting. Yeah.
Hey guys, some breaking news. Betty White just passed.
Oh,
No
damn.
way.
Betty White.
Yeah.
She didn't make it to 100.
She was going to be 100 in January.
Betty White just passed.
Wow.
Damn.
Betty
Are we
White.
that,
John Madden
are we
and
that
Betty White?
surprised, fellas?
Dude,
Are
they're
we,
slinging threes.
is that breaking
Well,
news?
apparently the
We are.
youngest guy here is surprised. So
Yeah.
he's David. You okay?
David
We're gonna have to cut the
interrupted
pod
the
short.
Bro,
podcast.
that's brutal though.
To announce that a
Madden
99-year-old
and Betty White, it's like America's
And by the way,
grandparents
don't
just
forget
died.
Harry Reid as well. Harry on his behalf.
So
Harry Reid as
John
well.
Madden and Betty White.
And that's what
Together.
old people do, man. Betty White had
What
a
they
great
do,
run.
they
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
Actually, full disclosure, I thought John Madden passed years ago.
Bro,
Are you being sarcastic?
I'm not even joking.
How dare you?
bro.
I haven't seen John Madden live in decades.
This was the wildest thing that's ever happened. Truth, when I found out John Madden died, like I was sad. And my brain
Yeah,
is
it
telling
bummed
me,
me out.
my brain is like, bro, you've never met this guy. Like, but my heart is like,
Yeah, but
I've
he's
met
mad in
this
the
guy.
video games,
like,
the boys.
I felt like my uncle passed or something.
Do you know
It was
the Madden
crazy.
story? Do you know the Madden story? Like how it happened when he first signed? Like they're gonna say we're gonna make a game after you.
I know. He was like, he was like kind of hesitant. He was like, I guess he's gonna be big, and then fucking.
So the guy says, "Hey, buy the stocks. Okay, we're going to give you the opportunity to buy the stocks." He calls this the greatest mistake of his lifetime. He says, "Buy the stock," and John's like, "I don't care about buying the stock." He says, "Come do this. We're not going to pay you, but I'm telling you."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So John's like, "No, I'm at a point right now. I'm John Madden. Pay me up front." So John goes. They use his name for the game. He just gets an upfront check,
And then
they
they
leave, and it
oh,
blows
wow.
up. And then it blows up. He's like, holy shit, I made a
I
big
told
mistake.
you, asshole.
Well, here's the part, though, which the story ends well. 14 years later, he goes and sits down. Good for EA Sports guys on what they did with him. He says, listen, you guys have been using my name. We got to make something work. EA Sports says, don't even worry about it. We're going to buy your naming rights. You know what they paid him for the naming rights?
100 mil?
150 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
150
Hang
million.
with him.
Yeah.
So opposed to that,
Yeah.
Tony Hawk has told this story where Tony Hawk, huge video game.
Of course.
Yeah.
They made the game. He has all his friends in it. Before it releases, the I don't know if it's EA Sports, but they came to him and said, "We think this game's gonna be pretty good, man. We're just gonna pay you once." And he goes, "I was broke at the time." They go, "We're gonna give you $500,000," and he goes, "And that's like life changing.
Yeah.
Like I was making no money." And he's like, "Nah, I think I'm just gonna take my chance, and you'll give me a share of the sales for each game." They're like, "Well, yeah, but we'll just give you like $1 million or $500,000 now, and dude, you're rich." He's like, "Nah, I don't want. I'll take my chances."
Good for him.
Really?
And then how much
Good
has he
for
made from
him.
that?
oh my
all
God.
the
Hundreds of millions?
Oh, it's still going, man.
And his friends all make money off it too because they're in the game.
They
the-
call it one of the greatest games of all time.
Well,
Yes.
the famous story that goes in the other direction, I'm sure you guys all know, is Foreman Grill. You know how that happened?
They wanted to give to Hulk
They went to
Hogan,
Hulk Hogan first.
but he went with the energy drinks.
That's why he went with the blender, because
Yeah.
he's like a grill indoors. This is stupid. Who's ever gonna want to grill indoors? So he goes with the blender,
That's right.
and then they go to George Foreman and like, hey, look, you got to have this grill. And he's like, all right, whatever, put my name on it.
Now, are they blaming COVID for Betty White too, or what are we doing here?
No clue. I just got the breaking news.
CNN's like COVID.
Tyler has the article up
Beloved
from
actress,
TMZ.
comedian, and American icon Betty White has died just weeks before milestone birthday. TMZ has learned law enforcement told Nancy Betty passed at her home Just before 9:30 a.m., a trailblazer and pioneer media, Betty had the longest-running career of any woman in TV prior to her death, starring in multiple shows over the last 8 decades.
Oh, man.
8 decades, starting all the way back to 1939. By the way,
Thank you for being
lasting. I mean, lasting power right there. Betty is perhaps the most famous for her lead role in Rogan on the Golden Girls, which ran from 1985 to 1992. She's been in tons of. By the way, have you seen Betty White's younger picture? Do you know what she looks?
She's kind of a babe.
Can you put young
She's been old
Betty
for
White?
years.
She's a total babe.
Young Betty White. David, I'm sure you want to do it anyways. Just type in young Betty White.
You know what's bullshit? Sex in the City is just Golden Girls after dark. It's just like X-rated.
Bingo.
Good point.
It's bullshit.
That's a
she's
young Betty White.
Cutie, man.
Yeah,
It's true.
good for her.
You know that she was the face of the life settlement market.
Was she
Betty
really?
White?
Because of being
I have a business that Pat does insurance. I do like something called life settlements. It's like reverse insurance.
Byron Newdale's favorite
She was,
business.
yeah, exactly. She was the face of the life settlement market for years. They paid her, an upfront deal, right, and $1 million or whatever. And
Great career, though.
Well, rest in
Yes.
peace, Betty White.
Rest in
Rest in peace. Anybody that can last that long in anything, you got to give them respect. 8
Insane.
decades. Question. What do you think about the way NFL is right now, or the NBA right now is handling the COVID situation? You know, where it's like suspend it.
I like that NFL did the thing where if you're asymptomatic,
Yeah.
they're not making you sit out from the game. I give them a little leeway because when the virus first came, we didn't know too much about it, so everyone kind of freaked out. And I like that the NBA did the bubble. You got to take your hat off to Dana White for not stopping.
Dubai,
They
yeah.
earned so many more fans doing that. Where he's like, I'm not stopping this, man.
Pace setter.
Yes. So, it's tough because at first we didn't know how to deal with this thing, but now we know. So they're being a little more educated about it. It made me a bigger fan of Aaron Rodgers, the way he was dealing with things, and the
yeah.
cancel culture came out of him. I bought an Aaron Rodgers jersey because of it. And, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
He's doubled down, tripled down, man. Patty Mack, he goes on that show and he lets it fly. And we were talking about that, what was it, yesterday or this morning?
Yeah.
We're like, do you think they're going to give him the MVP? He's clearly the MVP of the league. Do you
they
think
have to. Yeah, they have to.
He's made it so that they just can't even. They
He's
can't.
undeniable. You give to him or you give to Coop for the LA Rams.
You think Coop over Brady?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't
2
think
games
Brady's
left.
winning
We'll
it this
see.
year?
No.
I mean,
Brady was
listen,
favored up until about 3 games
dude,
ago.
my
guys,
because
Aaron's
my
thrown
dark horse
4
is Dak Prescott,
interceptions all season.
he's
2 of them
killing
in
it.
game 1.
4 interceptions all season.
He'll win it. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodgers and Brady.
By the way,
Both
if he wins it, here's the best story. If he wins it, oh my
Comes to
gosh,
the
if he
Broncos.
wins it, and then he wins the Super Bowl this season, that's a great story. If that and the NFL's going to hate if that takes
Favorite
place.
player of all time if he does that.
Who?
Favorite Aaron Rodgers.
Yours.
Oh yeah. If he does that, favorite player
Just
of all
spits
time.
in the face
Yeah,
of the-
just
yeah.
a big fuck you to
Love
the
it.
man. Love
The
it.
moment he did what he did, I bought his best rookie card.
Yeah.
I said, I support you, bro. Let's
Dude,
just
I
get your
bought-
best rookie card. I'm going to put it in the safe.
I hate the Packers. I'm from Denver, but I bought his fucking jersey and wore it for a week.
Yeah.
And was hoping I'd show up to Starbucks in LA with the soy boys, hoping somebody'd say something. I was looking for a scuffle.
Is that something that
You're
they
looking
do? Is
for-
that something that they
Oh,
do?
looking
They
for-
say
oh,
something?
dude.
Really?
Oh, if you don't have a mask on LA, dude.
Oh,
Really?
bro.
They'll come
Oh,
up and say something?
Oh, dude. Insane.
Outside?
No matter who you are.
Stop.
I
Not
got-
walking outside.
Yeah, I'd be on my bike because during the height of COVID when we locked down.
Yeah.
They locked down the trails behind my house, the Santa Monica Mountains. I was in the middle of, I'm talking nowhere. The closest person probably 50 miles. And people, put a mask on. We're in the middle of
Running
the mountains.
outside?
Yeah,
This
man.
is crazy,
Nuts.
Well, I mean,
Not now anymore,
You
though.
saw the lady on the
Still,
flight.
it's not like that, right?
In restaurants, or if you go into Starbucks, you have a mask on. Oh, yeah.
Okay, indoors.
Well, with-
Indoors, they yell at you.
Indoors, they'll do
Even
the-
though you're
the Karen
vaccinated,
thing.
they yell.
Bro,
they yell
and
at you.
there's nobody worse than these progressive comedians too, though, man. They won't say anything one-on-one, but once they get like a little bit of a group around them and they get like feeling a little bit tough too, and you're in the green.
Who are like the big progressive comedians?
I'm not gonna name.
Yeah,
names.
I was gonna say, you don't want those problems.
No, so but I will. I'll tell you one story though. I mean,
It's guys who can't sell tickets.
Yeah, and well, there's a guy that you know that I'm not gonna tell the story. Very, very, very popular now, but then he was great for a long time, but he wasn't really getting booked because of how kind of edgy he was. And there was a woman at a comedy club who ran. She was a booker, and she took that job way too damn seriously. And she was like, "Look, when you go on the night, don't tell that joke about Trump." This was years ago. And he goes, "You telling me what jokes I can and can't tell?" And she goes, "Yeah, if you ever want to play here again, you won't tell that joke about Trump." He goes, "All right, fine." Goes up, looks to the side, tells the audience, goes, "So that fat bitch right there says I can't tell a joke about Trump. What do you guys think?" Should
And
I
they
say?
went nuts.
And they went nuts, and he brought the house down. He's
Yeah.
very famous now.
Yeah.
And
Sounds like a.
He's a New York guy?
yes,
Yes.
yeah. So
And he has a really good Patreon?
So anyway,
And his initials are AS.
So anyway, the one time I was telling a story, though I'll just be honest with it. These progressives that I'm talking about, I was at a club, and there's like 3 shows in a row, and you do your 10 minutes, and you go back to the green room, and then you do your 10 minutes. And I was still drinking at the time, and I was getting pretty.
You're sober now?
Mostly. So
I was drinking at the time. You drinking now?
I was drinking heavy at the time.
Sure.
Okay.
And then, so I'm a few whiskeys deep, and then we're 3 hours in, and there had just been some sort of shooting, and this girl is like pontificating about white people and guns and this and that.
And she's white?
Yeah, of course.
Great.
And so finally, normally I could just keep my mouth shut and keep it moving, but today I was just like,
I can't.
I was like, bro, let me ask you a question. What's a more likely scenario? That I would need a gun to kill you, or that you would need a gun to stop me? And you would have thought what I asked. Everybody said, did you just threaten to kill her?
Yeah.
How could you? And dude, they made this whole big thing. I got kicked out of the club for life that I threatened this girl. I was like, I didn't threaten this girl. All I tried to do was explain to her that for like the history of our species being big, strong, and capable of violence was all you needed to be successful. Because of the rules that we have now, and specifically because of firearms, people that are 5 foot, 100 pounds have just as much of a voice as anybody else. You should be the biggest 2A advocate out of everybody.
Have you guys seen a change leaving? Because you guys were in Texas, correct? And then coming to Florida, have you seen the same?
I'm from Miami.
This is a lot more chill even than Texas. Yeah. So but, listen, neither Texas or Florida is even close to what LA is at.
Sure. Oh, no.
You're in a whole different world in LA when you're
We're
there.
the epicenter of it. Yeah.
It's insane what's going on over
I
there.
tell them,
Yeah.
I feel like I escaped the Soviet Union, bro.
Yeah.
Like this is paradise. We were on the boat yesterday, man. There's still lockdowns in New York right now. There's still mandates. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
But
like,
you got to know what's happening here. So here's what's going on with South Florida. South Florida, Miami, the mayor, credit to him. I mean, the guy's
Francis Suarez.
He's a beast. His father was a mayor. Now he's a mayor. And if DeSantis runs, a lot of people would like to see him potentially end up being a governor of Florida. Who knows if he's got that kind of
Governor,
aspiration.
he should run for president. Fuck governor.
He may do that.
Yeah.
He may do that where he's at. He may
There's levels.
take that route. Yeah.
You can skip some levels.
Well, here's what he did. Miami's become the crypto capital of U.S. That's what they're
Correct.
talking about. So Miami's now the place where people are coming for crypto. New York was the financial capital. They may keep it that way. They're trying to make it here. A lot of guys are moving out here.
God.
Texas ain't going away. Texas, on a golf score, if you want to raise kids, great place to be. If you like a little bit of lifestyle, you're more here. So if California and Texas had a baby, it'd be Florida.
South Florida
interesting.
specifically.
Yeah.
South
If California and Texas had a baby, it'd be Florida. Yeah. You get into water, you get the
Sold.
lifestyle,
Sold.
and you get the taxes.
Yeah.
The tax benefits, regulation, no one bothers you.
Yep.
So they just got to make sure they keep it that way.
Correct.
With where it's at today. By the way, did you hear who's the highest paid government employee in America today?
Oh,
Is it Fauci?
Fauci,
the good
highest
doctor
paid,
himself.
highest paid government employee. His pension alone, they just came out with his pension alone. What's his pension plan, by the way?
$350 a year.
$350 a year. Fauci, okay? He said he will not retire until the pandemic is over. I'm sure many people are happy about that. His retirement package is shaping up to be the largest federal retirement package in U.S. history. $350,000. Our auditors at OpenTheBooks.com estimate Dr. Fauci's retirement would exceed $350,000. Is what he's going to get
Tell you
paid.
what, if Jake Paul fights Dr. Fauci, I'm on. I'm team Paul.
Yep.
All of a sudden,
Well,
I'm
no,
ready
you
to
know
ride.
what? I wouldn't mind seeing. Let's get a realistic fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Rand Paul fight Fauci.
That'd be fun.
That's what I would. Would you pay to watch it?
100%.
I'd pay to watch
100%.
it.
Yeah.
I'd
I
pay.
don't know, man. Rand Paul's a seasoned vet at this point. His neighbor's been trying to take him out for years.
And by the way, I'd put $2 million for the winner if Fauci and Rand Paul decide to fight.
They already know you've got $5 million in the can
Well,
for
that's
this
a
thing,
different
man.
one.
I would
You got
actually
$5
just want to
million.
see an actual verbal debate like what they've done in
It's
and
great when they're
testimonies over
together.
there,
But can you imagine those two guys fighting? It'd be obviously be very.
Fauci's the size of how tall is
tiny.
Fauci? 5'6",
And he's 80,
buck
right?
20. He's 80 years old.
81 years
81.
old. I think he's 5'6".
Yeah, he's a sprightly 81, though.
But he says he was a basketball star in high school.
How dare you?
Just
Yeah, he
like,
was-
you know,
Again, we're loose with the term star
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
athlete.
He claims they
Full
have
circle.
Yeah, that's when Jews and Italians were running the NBA in the 1930s.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, who's the commissioner in the NBA now?
Silver.
That's Adam
Yeah,
Silver.
I don't know how much has changed.
Then who?
People
Who's
love
running
Adam
the NBA?
Silver.
Yeah,
And
of course.
Stern?
Stern, Silver. What are you talking about?
You're saying two Jewish dudes?
Yeah, who's running the NBA?
No, but who would you
More
rather
than just
have?
the NBA,
I think
Gerard.
Stern
Careful
was
with your
a.
lips there, buddy.
Yeah, but
I think so.
Okay.
You know the whole conversation.
You want to make it in Hollywood? Shut your face.
Yeah,
You know the whole
that's what they told me years ago. I'm still fat.
We're coming down to the end of it, but at the beginning, I asked you guys a question about, what sport's tougher, right? We're talking about the players, MLB, NBA, all this other stuff. Go to 90s, okay?
Sure.
90s, if Nolan Ryan and Michael Jordan
Oh,
fight.
love it.
If Nolan Ryan and Jordan
Love
fight,
it.
who takes it?
Jordan beats the shit out of him.
Jordan,
Nolan Ryan?
Michael,
I know. I'm with you. I love Nolan Ryan too, and I like what he stands for.
Robin Ventura. We better get him on the
Michael
phone.
Jordan
Michael
is a
Jordan is going to
savage.
destroy Nolan Ryan.
Who's
okay?
he fighting? Steve Kerr? Get out of here.
It's the greatest athlete of all time is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Stop.
And he's a
we
social-
talked
Well,
about it.
how big is
That's so
Nolan
hard. That's
Ryan's
the
way
part.
bigger than you guys think.
problem
Nolan
for
Ryan's a
Nolan Ryan
big
is
dude.
that.
Yeah,
Nolan Ryan's a big dude.
Nolan Ryan is a big dude, but Michael Jordan is a sociopath.
The dude throws 110 miles an hour. You don't think he could throw a hook
First
with
of
some
all,
Is he
speed?
first
throwing
of all,
pitches at
Kobe said, I had big hands, but not the biggest. I was quick, but not the quickest. I was fast, but not the fastest. I could jump, but I couldn't jump the highest, right? All of those things he said, Michael would
Jordan
replace
can
the
do it.
sentence
Yeah.
like this. I had the biggest
yeah,
hands.
that's
I
right.
had the fastest first
Yeah.
step. I was the quickest, and I jumped the highest.
The
And I
ultimate
will whoop
narcissist.
your ass,
Yeah.
right? The ultimate narcissist.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yeah, well, dude, you bring it back to the back in the day, the American Gladiators and stuff. There was video game Monster League, like all that stuff.
Nitro?
Yeah, dude, I know that this is a joke and we're like super, manly on today's podcast, but I do. You talk about
Did I
20
make
years.
you guys manly?
Yeah, manly around here.
God damn it.
Shit, dude. But in 20 years, man, do you think there's even freaking contact sports?
Yes, Gerard.
Honest
you think
to
the
God.
NFL's going somewhere?
Do
You think UFC's
bro,
going
you
somewhere?
think you're going to be able to touch the quarterback in 20 years? Do you think you're actually going to be able to sack the quarterback in 20 years?
Yes, that's kind of the whole point of the freaking game, dude.
I don't know.
what do you think, like, UFC
What do you think is
all
happening
about?
in
know.
20 years from now? They're going to be
listen,
running
there's-
around in
there's
fucking
always-
ballerina dresses and just like playing two-hand touch?
Are there a lot of kids out there playing tackle football in the streets anymore? Are there a lot of kids, like when we were growing up, you can go down any block. You can see kids riding their bicycles on the side of the street, and then people playing tackle football in a park.
On the pavement?
When was
What
the
kind of
last time you
Brooklyn
saw a
shit
kid?
are you doing
Hey,
here?
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm
We didn't
from
give a shit.
Miami. We would play in the fucking grass.
Yeah, well, you're also soy boys.
Yeah, dude.
We'd play tackle football in the grass.
There's
like
no
kids
skin
do.
on anybody's knees up there. Bing bong. So what I'm talking about
I
is,
don't know.
bro, when was the last time you even saw kids riding their bikes anywhere, man? That's all I'm saying.
see
I know I
it.
sound like an
I see
old fogey
gangs of
here,
bike
but like,
kids.
Bro,
I see gangs
Gerard,
of bike kids like
first
doing
of
their
all,
tricks.
Neither one of you guys have kids.
Yeah.
Kids ride bikes.
Yeah,
My
As long
kid's
as
on
you
a
know
bike
that.
all the time.
Yeah, kids ride bikes. So
I don't want to
Brenden,
interrupt you, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
Brenden, this
I'm
was a
just
blast,
saying.
my
Yeah,
man.
thank you,
Really
guys.
enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
pleasure to
Appreciate
finally
you for
meet
coming
you.
out.
Yeah, thank
Definitely
you,
really
guys.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Respect,
Take care,
bro.
everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Oh, that was weird.